Hey, what's up everybody?
Hey,
Welcome
guys.
to another weekly Wednesday live stream. I'm Peter,
I'm Ja.
or Grandmaster Ja, as I saw somebody call him in the
I
chat
am
already.
Box, yes. Hello to you too, I am Box.
Good to see you all joining today. Yeah, we hope you'll enjoy the stream today. And yeah, I mean, we're going to talk about a couple of special things. And also we have some nice giveaways, as always. So, as you can see just over my shoulder, that's what we're giving away today. Game copies of Watch Dogs Legion.
Brand new.
It is an awesome game. I'm also going to be showing it to you, or playing it basically, on one of the cards we're talking about today. So, yeah, we're going to see some gameplay a bit. Probably not that good, the gameplay, but the performance should be friggin' sweet. Anyway. Let's see if we got some nice questions in the chat already. Did those GPUs even launch in NL today? Yeah, they did. They do all over the world. So, not sure which ones you mean, but if you're talking about SUPRIM, then yep. I see a lot of questions already about things like stock or pricing. That's something I unfortunately don't have detailed information about. All I know is that, well, obviously being a new product and being in huge demand, pretty much whatever model, whatever series, be it gaming, SUPRIM, Ventus, doesn't matter. All of it, there is way more demand than there is supply. So
yeah, the hype was real.
Exactly, that's just how it is at the moment. But I'm sure that in the coming weeks, months, it will improve. It always does. That's just how these things go. So I am really sorry if you are wanting to buy a card right now, or like your old card is broken, or you just want an update right now, and you're sat there waiting in a queue or something for your card to arrive. That sucks, obviously, but yeah, there's really not that much we can do about it. We're also dependent on, well, the amount of stock we can produce, but also, for example, the amount of GPUs we get at any given time. So there's a lot of work there. We're working on it, and just give it some time. You should be fine.
Great to see all the reactions.
Yeah, yeah. All right, but let's talk about that very special card that is also at the moment hard to get, because I've got one right here. And there's probably some chroma keying going on. It's actually not that bad. Yeah, that's the green part. Oh, yeah. Dude.
Now it's gone.
That broke it.
Now it's gone, the green part.
Yeah. But you see how shiny, even the name, you know, it's so shiny. So as you can see, it's a completely different looking box already than, for example, gaming or Ventus, because those are dark. So we decided to go with a much lighter box design for it as well. I'm
really fresh.
Yeah, I really want to know what you guys think about this. We did try to go for something completely different about it, not just with the with the nice shiny finish on the name and then the logo, but with the general box design as well. So let me know what you guys think about it. It's nice and clean.
A very powerful box.
Yeah, yeah, I know, guys. The green screen. The green screen. I wish the GPU cooler was white too. Yeah, this is a trend we've also seen, but I'm not sure like how many people are actually making white builds still, because it's like it was a thing a long time ago as well. I don't know if you guys remember from, I think even last generation, we had the black and white armor cards. So that could fit well. They were more black than white, I guess, if you want to have the balance. But yeah, I mean, white cards. Are many of you guys waiting for those and looking for those? Because I already see Banana. Yeah, I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. He was saying, I tried, but I could not get a white motherboard. And this is also something that we've been looking at. And generally, when we make the choice of how we create these cards, we also look at, you know, what does the market look like in terms of the systems it's supposed to be well, installed on, for example, so motherboards. And yeah, you don't see that many white motherboards, or, you know, that theme doesn't seem to be very much alive or popular in that many motherboards. So yeah, how do you guys feel about that? Just paint it yourself? Ooh, yeesh. That's some risky advice right there.
Yeah, so Rick is saying like, hey, isn't this a RX 6800 XT stream? Well, maybe there's a little bit of confusion with the Supreme part because the Supreme is not referring to the RX 6800 XT.
We're going to be talking about two what we call game-changing products, or cards basically. One of them, and the main one that we're going to be talking about, is Supreme, and this is a new series that's at the moment only available on NVIDIA cards, so that's and not even well, no, at the moment actually all of them, yeah. So it's 3090, 3080, 3070. And for the AMD cards, we're going to be talking about them a bit later in the stream, let's say. So we're going to be sharing a bit more details about those. But the main course is Supreme.
Yeah, Banana is actually asking, well, he's aware of the Trial X version.
Yes.
And if there's like much difference.
Well, we'll actually get to that because there is one actually inside this box. It's not just an empty box, which you can tell if you're gonna lift it up, because this thing is heavy. Actually, I'm looking to see if it says the weight on the box. Sometimes it does. In this case, it doesn't. But I happen to know that it's quite near to 2 kilograms, just the graphics card itself, which is heavy. It's a heavy boy. But yeah. There are some differences, and we will actually get to that because if you guys are good, I'm going to see if I can tear it open, do a deep dive before Eric can burst in the room. We actually locked the door, right, John?
Right? we
locked the door, right?
Yeah,
so,
yeah.
okay. So if anybody comes knocking, it's probably Eric that he wants in on the teardown.
Tearing down the Supreme X. Actually, my hands are itchy too.
Yeah, I know. It's yeah, but it's very well built. So it's actually going to require a bit more. I actually haven't done it before, so it's also going to be live and the first time that I'm doing it. But I'm hoping it's not that much more complicated or complex than the other cards I've taken apart on stream. I see Eric's in the chat. Nothing negative, dude. We just know you love. Deconstructing products. I'm not sure if we're gonna do a Steve level of teardown. I think we're just gonna stick to, like, for example, taking the backplate off and the cooling, and then I'll show you some guys, because that's also what to answer the question of Banana, is that those are some of the main differences with the Gaming X Trio. So once I take those off, the backplate and the cooling, so both in the cooling solution but also on the PCB and the backplate, there you can find most of the differences. So I do want to point those out to you guys. Oh god, that's what I was afraid of. Does it have high quality POS caps or MLCCs? Jeez, like this is like, I knew about some of these components, but I guess like many of you, since that whole POS cap gate, or how do you want to, like, cap gate, like, everybody started paying attention to what's on the back end of those PCBs just behind the GPU. Everybody suddenly knows what POS caps and MLCCs are, or roughly. Anyway, if you didn't read the news back then, those actually weren't the cause of the problem, and there was a driver update that seemed to fix everything. So regardless of what is on the back of it, it should be fine.
Because people really did pay attention.
But it was a very, let's say, informative thing. Anyway, I'm not gonna leave you guys waiting. Does this beast require a support bracket? Doesn't really require it if you don't want to. But just make sure you install it very well in your case. But it does come with one, and actually it's inside the box, so I'm going to see if I can show that to you guys. This box also opens differently than other boxes. It's more like a... Here it is. And as you can see, there's also the Supreme name on the inside there. It's really trying to present the card to you, which of course is still underneath some stuff here. So as you can see, there's the usual envelope with stuff in here. I think, let's just quickly see what's in here. Like, you know, the manuals, helping you out with if you're not that familiar with installing a graphics card, for example. We've really made one that's really.
There's the famous Professor Lucky again.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, Lucky the teacher. So that really just takes you through step by step the process of okay, so what do you do, how to remove your old graphics card, making sure you do it safely and don't damage anything, and yeah, even down to installing the driver. So it's really detailed. And even a bit, there is a little bit about how to use Afterburner, where to get it, and how to use it. So that's always nice to have that. Most of you guys will probably know it. Yeah, and here's a little, there's an installation guide for the graphics card holder, as you can see. And that's actually the support bracket I will show you in a minute. Because this one's different than the ones you're used to seeing. Let me just put this next to me. Oh, before I forget, can we go back to the main view, Ja? Before I forget, we're trying something new with the giveaway, with regards to the giveaway today. It's still a Gleam link, so Gleam is the system we use for our giveaways, and it's still the same procedure for you guys. Just click on the link that will be in the chat, I think, and then you can participate, or you can go to msi.com/2/insider, click on the link there. You just have to perform a couple of actions, and the more actions you perform, they will each give you points basically for the draw, and the more points you have, the bigger your chance is to win, obviously. But we're also trying out a loyalty system, I think the name is, right? So basically it comes down to the more giveaways you participate in, you at some point, I think it's starting from 2 and then 10 and then something like this, how many giveaways you've participated in, you can actually apply bonus points, which then again give you a better chance of winning. So the more often you you view our streams and participate live in the giveaway draws, you can apply more points. So you might notice something new if you're a regular viewer, and Edwin K is already saying I cannot activate the bonus. Okay, like I said, we're trying this, so we're not saying we tested it a bit and it did seem to work, but
today we're launching this.
Exactly, we're expecting some issues with it maybe. I Am Buck says got them all activated. Nice. Yeah, let us know if you have any issues with it. Yeah, TD Kids also seems it's working. Nice. Okay, that's good. But it's basically just, for everybody who keeps coming back to our stream, we appreciate that. And we kind of want to give you some extra chance of winning because, the regular crowd, we do really appreciate you guys. And we really love that we see you guys every week. So yeah, just a little bit extra. So you guys have a bit more chance of winning. It's not an I win button, like an instant win button. That's definitely not the case. But it should give you a nice little extra chance. Eric's in the chat, by the way, so he might pick up on any issues you might have, and he'll try to fix them if he can. But it's good to hear already that for most people it seems to be working. Great. If it's not working, let us know. It's something we can work on, and we can try and work out why it's not working. But don't panic either if you're not able to access or activate the bonus today. There's always next stream, and if you're joining anyway, you should be building up your bonus regardless. If you're a regular viewer, you should already have a bonus, so it's not like it's starting counting from today. It should already be counting from basically the first moment you started participating in the giveaways. So yeah, feel free to let us know how it's going. Ooh, Ja, your sweater is spazzing out on the camera. I know. I had that a couple of weeks ago. I had like a mesh.
It's all because
type
Eric
of
pointed it out.
Fabric.
Because after Eric said it, people were like, "Yeah, well, now that you mention it." Yeah. So guys, there seems to be a lot of questions regarding availability and stock issues. I mean, Peter already addressed this, and it's not really within our control. So
no. I mean, what's the point of launching a car with zero stock? This is always an issue when when you launch a new generation. There's always going to be a hell of a lot more demand, and in previous generations, this has gotten more and more. I want to say worse, as in it's gotten more extreme. It seems. I remember with the 900 series or the 10 series, there was shortage obviously at launch, but it wasn't quite as bad. And I think it's a combination of factors. I think also that, you know, more people are looking into this, or you know, gaming has gotten more popular. It's gotten more accessible for a lot of people. So probably more people are looking to buy these cards in comparison to I don't know, 5-6 years ago. And I mean, yeah, it's a situation that's always existed, but this time it does seem to take longer for things to normalize. But you know, they will at some point. That's something we've always seen, whether it takes a couple of weeks or months. But in the end, it always the supply always catches up with the demand at some point, and then things will get back to normal. It's just taken a while, and for some reason it seems to be very much the case right now.
So Peter,
Yes.
are you also going to show the difference between the Supreme version and the normal 3080?
Well, as in I've got multiple cards here, but we will get to that later indeed. So I will do like a physical comparison, and I could even maybe look up some of the comparisons later on as well, like, you know, in terms of statistics.
Yeah, a little bit patient, peeps.
Yeah, yeah. Anyway, something else that's in the box that you get free is a rather nice mouse pad with a nice design here. Let me just take it out of the plastic. I was going to say there is an opening somewhere. I was just looking for it. Here we go. So yeah, if you buy one of these cards, you get a nice mouse pad that, you know, to highlight that, hey, you get a Supreme. It's a nice quality, really nice and smooth. And it's not too much of a flashy design, but it does fit the design of the card quite nicely. And then the rest of the box, here's the business now, guys. Here's the business now. Here's the card, obviously. It has to be in the plastic. I would have loved it if we could have done it without this, but this is, you know, it needs to be there for protective reasons. Otherwise, you'd be looking at the full glory of the card already. And the things that you can see in here underneath the card, that's the graphics card stand. So let me actually maybe take those out first to show you guys, and then we'll get to the card, so we actually don't have to go back to any other parts. Just put the box here. So it's a 3-part system, as you can see. There's a base stand, basically, and there's the upright part here, and as you can see, it has a what do you call it? You can screw it in. It's like a screw end here, and you can actually screw that into the base. So you basically make an upright stand, like a vertical stand this way. There you go. And this is metal, by the way. It's not plastic. It's rather heavy metal as well, and some nice anti-slip feet under it. Here you go. And then there's a part that slides over the vertical part, the stand part, if you will, with a thumb screw at the end of it, so you can actually fix it in place. And as you can see, it has the name of the card on it, just so you know when it's upright. But I mean, I guess you guys would have guessed as well that the part with the rubber finish on it, that's the part that should be facing up, because that's the part you're gonna put up against your card. So then you can just slide over the support, as you can see here, and then you can just tighten the thumb screw at any height you want. And then there you go. Then, you know, the card can rest on it. It's not going to move. The only thing about this is, and we're going to get back to this because I'm actually going to apply it in a case later on to show you guys. The only thing about this is, I do want to give you guys a warning if you have this. Normally with a support bracket that you can actually fix to the rear end of the case. I always say those things are especially useful for when, for example, you transport your PC from one place to another. With this stand, that is actually quite the opposite. You do not want to use this thing in your case when you're transporting it. And the reason for it is this thing is not fixed to anything. Basically, only gravity and stuff like that holds it in place, because it's just standing in your PC case like this. If you were to hit a bump and this thing would come loose, it's gonna go all over the place in your PC, in your case, and cause potentially all kinds of damage. So definitely do not use this stand during transport. Be careful with that. I guess, if you think about it, it sounds logical, but Yeah, I do want to stress it because I've especially been telling people to, the support brackets, use them, especially if you're gonna transport the PC. But in this case, I'm advising you to do the opposite, to not use it while transporting it. Only use it when your PC is stationary, just sitting there, not moving.
So
the base is not a magnetic stand. No, sorry, Merrick. Sold separately? No. These are just bundled in the box for free, so you get them with all models: 3090, 3080, and 3070 Supreme. They are bundled with all of the cards just in the box for free. So we don't ask anything extra for it. You just get them. Why not a real support bracket? We wanted to do something a bit more special with this one. Yeah, these are actually way more expensive than the support brackets you get in that you can fix to the rear of your case, basically under the card. And we saw a lot of people were making like DIY solutions, or like even down to Lego dolls or something with their arms up holding a graphics card up. A lot of people seem to also prefer solutions that are not blocking quite as much space horizontally. So this one will actually not block quite as much space and not take up a PCIe slot. So yeah, multiple reasons basically. Can someone tell me where I can find a webcam stand like this? Like this, you mean? This is actually not a webcam stand. I have one more under the table here. You can actually buy these, I think, or you should be able to buy these. This is a headphone stand, actually. And I guess I'm going to bamboozle you guys now, but when I do this, look at that. It's a headphone stand. It was actually designed as a headphone stand. And we are selling these. I think it's the HS01 on our website if you look it up. And the reason why we use it also as a webcam stand is because of how big and sturdy and thick the material is. So it's really solid, and it really doesn't move. We had some tripod stands, but they had a tendency of being very lightweight, and if you move on the table a bit with heavy objects, or somebody hits the cable, it would throw the camera off, basically. With this thing, not really the case. Anyway.
We have a pretty good suggestion coming in saying that we should have a Lucky implemented in the pole holding the GPU.
I will make sure that HQ hears your suggestion. I'm betting they will love that. So you want a Lucky on the pole, right?
Yeah.
Okay, got it. Availability, guys. I see you guys keep asking this. Price, release date. Release date's already done. I mean, both the 3080 and 3090, the release date is there. And the stock is on its way. So, yeah, it really depends on shipping and when it will arrive. But other than that, I don't have specific information of how much stock is going to which countries or even which regions. But, yeah, we're doing everything we can to make sure we get stock out to you guys. Anyway, on to the card then. On to the main thing. So here we go. This was the idea. When we make the box, you just slide it open, and of course here you can also see the slogan: "Change the game." We really wanted to do something different. For the past few generations, our gaming card was our top-end card, and I think most people would have thought that this generation also, at the start of the 30 series, the Gaming X Trio was our flagship, was the highest end card, but in secret we were of course working on Supreme, and we just wanted to make sure it was good enough when we released it. And also we wanted to have a bit of separate attention for it, so that's why we waited to launch it a bit later. And as you can see, there it is. So I'm just gonna, it doesn't matter how nice the box is, I am going to have to take it off the table. But here you go. Like I said, it's a really big, heavy card. And this is actually a 3090, which you can tell pretty much only by, the sticker on the backplate, which says it's a 3090 in really small letters, but also the fact that, of course, it has the SLI connectors there, which a 3080 does not have. other than that, in a lot of respects, it is identical in terms of the size, the weight, the dimensions, yeah, the feature set pretty much, the I/O connectors. As you can see, it takes up about 3 slots, though the I/O bracket is only 2 slots that you have to connect. But it has a massive heatsink, and also very interestingly here, there's a separate heatsink which I hope to be able to show you guys better when I take the card apart, for the memory modules. So it actually has like dedicated heatsink and heat pipe underneath it for the memory modules. But yeah, this thing is huge. The shroud also, big difference with the Gaming X Trio, which I will grab in just a moment, is that most of the shroud, especially the middle part pretty much, that's all brushed aluminum. And it also, I'm not sure if the camera will catch this, but on the inside of, near the fan holes basically here, you can see there's a chamfered edge, or like a 45-degree machined angle. I'm waiting to see if the camera will oh, here we go. Yeah, here we go. So this card is pretty much all about the details. There's a lot of details that we try to put a lot of effort and attention into to make it, really stand out like a premium card, high end in every respect, pretty much. Also the very reflective side here. And of course, we heard you guys. You guys loved the dual finish brushed aluminum backplate on last generation's gaming cards. And when you guys saw the gaming, you were like, what happened to the brushed cards or to the brushed backplates? Well, here they are. And doesn't it look glorious?
Yeah, the backplate already did really blow a few people away.
Yeah. Well, as it did me as well when I first saw it. I was really like, oh, okay, yeah, this looks seriously freaking good. Yeah. Something nice going on here as well. You might have noticed a logo, which there are some LEDs under there, which I can show you later on in a build. Also, something very small, something very subtle that some of you might have seen. Let me see, this is the way to hold it so you guys can see. Here you can see there's a dual BIOS switch, and it's on silent in the default setting, and you can also put it on gaming. The difference is mainly the fan curve. So what it will do in silent is the fan curve will be, rather relaxed. So the card might get a little bit hotter. And by hotter, I mean, I don't know, I've done some testing, I've seen like 70, up to 70 degrees, something like that, so nothing special. It should not really impact your gaming performance too much or at all. Or you can set it into gaming mode for a bit more aggressive fan curve, which basically makes the graphics card a bit cooler, but it could be a little bit louder. By making it a bit cooler, it might give the GPU just a little bit extra headroom to boost just fractionally higher. But yeah, I can show you guys later on as well. Twilight, you are assuming this card can clock higher than the Gaming Trio? Yes, these cards are actually also out of the box. The SUPRIM X models are clocked higher than the, much higher actually, than the Gaming X Trio cards. So already out of the box, they have a much higher core clock. They also have a much higher power limit, which that's the most coolest feature I've ever seen. Backplate is metal? Yes, it is. The higher power limit, out of the box, it already has a bit higher power limit than Gaming X Trio, but these ones will actually let you boost quite a bit higher as on top of that, for example in Afterburner. But as you will see in reviews and in a lot of, we've also done a lot of testing, the Ampere cards are quite tuned to a level where you can basically put a lot more power into them, but the return that you get in terms of performance, it's really yeah, I want to say small. There's not that much margin in terms of performance, so you can make it use up a lot more power, and of course then that means it'll also get hotter. And you will get some performance gain, but it will not be anything like, I don't know, it will not be like 10% more performance, or 7, or maybe even 5 is already quite high. Yes, they can be overclocked.
Yeah, and quite a few people already ask, is the Supreme also meant for the AMD versions? So for now, we can say no.
For now, no. For now, and I'll show you guys this later as well, but we only have a gaming X-Trio cards for the AMD cards. Can we see CUDA code? I don't know how you show that. Differences between Armor, Gaming X, Ventus and Supreme. Well, Armor we don't have in the 30 series, so that one is very simple. Ventus is our MSRP model, so that's actually, let me just grab the cards. Let me just do that. So we can actually do a side-by-side comparison. Here we go.
Voila.
Ventus 3X, the 3-fan Ventus card. This is a 3080, and the Gaming X Trio, also a 3080. Now, let's do a bit of comparison. Maybe, can you, yeah, let's do that.
Look at them thick boys.
So, yeah, the Ventus is our MSRP model. So basically, we try to control the cost as well as possible to get as close to the NVIDIA MSRP as possible. So you guys have a good option, a good solid option of buying a card for the advertised price that NVIDIA communicates. However, that does often mean we don't really have that much space for features like extras like RGB or dual BIOS switch or stuff like that. So it is a card that focuses on the essentials, just the performance it's supposed to offer, and a solid cooling solution. But obviously, if you compare it to the likes of a gaming or especially Supreme, you will find that, the gaming, for example, is a step upwards in pretty much everything from the custom PCB design to the power delivery to the performance, and especially the cooling solution is a lot more effective than the Ventus card. So this one will give you a better overall experience, more silent, a bit more features to play around with, just a bit more performance to squeeze out of it. So just a step above. And then above that, we now have the Supreme. So this is now our top-end model. And this one will give you an even better, better thermal solution, or better cooler than the gaming. It's a bit more beefy as well. So it can handle higher temperatures better. And it will give you either, at the same temperature, it will give you a more silent experience than the gaming card. Or if you decide to push it up higher because of the power limit, you have that option. It's able to handle that quite nicely. And so, then you will still have a nice silent experience where the gaming would already start ramping up a bit, probably. And also, well, I can show you that later on, but the PCB design of the Supreme is also different than the gaming. I mean, the gaming card already has a custom PCB design, which means it's just a bit upgraded from the reference design, or the default spec, let's say, from NVIDIA. Because the reference design, it's confusing. Reference design is almost like a Founders Edition, people think. That's like a V-shaped PCB. That, of course, we don't have in any of our cards. But yeah, so the Supreme basically has the most upgraded that we have. It also has more power phases, for example, and thicker layers of copper in the PCB for better signal strength, especially under higher or more extreme loads. It has a more upgraded thermal solution, which I'll show you guys once I start opening it up. And we're using more premium materials. It also has things like, the BIOS switch I showed you guys. So that is on the Supreme, but it's not on the gaming. More premium materials, like, for example, using metal, also even in the front, or the shroud, as we call it, of the graphics card. and a lot more details, just to make it look even more premium. Yeah, and it feels really rock solid. These cards are just beastly.
The thing is like what, close to your forearm?
Let's see. I mean, I'm not like a bodybuilder.
I'm in the length already.
But yeah, it is actually it's longer. If you count my elbow to my wrist, then it pretty much it's like it's longer than my forearm.
Oh yeah.
I think on the website it also says how long it is, and we had to look it up because of the cases that we use. The regular size cases. They could potentially struggle, especially if you have a hard drive base in the front. But yeah, it's I think 336 millimeters. So yeah, that's it's quite long. Yeah, 336 millimeters indeed. I see people in the chat. So you found the product page then.
Well done, Sherlocks.
Yes, yes. So make sure if you are going to or looking to buy one of these cards that your case can actually fit it. Because I mean, one of the most frustrating experiences that I've had personally as well, and I just took one of the in the past. I think it was one of the Lightning cards, which was also huge.
You had a Lightning card.
Yeah,
nice.
I think it was maybe the 10 series, like the 1080 Ti Lightning back in the day, or even the 2080 Ti. And I was like, oh, maybe I can take one home for for the weekend at some point to do some testing. You know how it goes. Anyway, because during the weekend nobody's using them. There's nobody in the office, so and I could get some hours in trying it out and seeing getting some first-hand experience. And then I found out that the case I was actually using, I just could not fit it in, like physically, and that was. And I didn't even buy it, of course. I just brought it home from the office for a weekend. But I was so bummed out that I could not put it in. And I was actually considering using like a grinder tool to, just remove part of the case, but decided in the end not to. But yeah, just make sure it fits in your case, because that's really something you want to avoid, that it arrives and you're all happy. You're like, yeah, let's get this thing installed. Let's see what it can do. And then it doesn't fit. I mean, that's just, yeah.
And do we have any slim versions planned for these cards?
Slim how? Do you mean like 2 slots?
Yeah, I mean, back in the days we used to have like those Aero cards, right? Well, those were slimmer.
No, those were ITX. Or do you mean Aero cards as in exhaust fans?
Yeah, the exhaust fans. Those were also thinner.
Not at the moment, no. And that's mostly got to do with the fact that, 3070, 3080, 3090, those GPUs can use a lot of power. So that means that there's a lot of heat that needs to be dealt with, needs to be dissipated. And traditionally an exhaust fan, so basically it's one single radial fan in an enclosed shroud, acts kind of like a wind tunnel, if you will. Those are less efficient at getting rid of a lot of heat very fast. I mean, they are very good at getting the heat out of your case, because they directly eject the hot air out of the back of the case, so it doesn't blow air out of the sides of the card, but it stays in the case, which with some of these cards, that's what happens, the air gets blown straight down, and then it exits out of the sides of the card, but that's still inside your case. So then you still need your case fans to provide airflow to actually get all of the hot air out of the case. So the benefit of those Aero or exhaust fan designs is that they actually get the hot air out of the case straight away. The downside is that they often, the amount of heat that they can handle effectively is rather limited. And trust me when I say, if you would have a 3090 or 3080 using one of those designs, it's going to be a leaf blower at least, as in the noise level. So that, I mean, it just wouldn't be a good experience. I don't think people would actually like that. It's maybe fine for data centers, but yeah. And then again, even if these things go at full blast, they might still get so hot that I don't know, at some point maybe will start eating away at the lifespan of some of the components. So you just don't want that.
Yeah.
Let's just say if we could make it work, we would be probably offering them. and we are looking into it, of course, because it's not like our aim is to make the cards as big and heavy as possible. Our aim is to make a graphics card that is well-rounded, that is perfectly balanced between offering really good performance, stability, and also a good cooling solution, so that the card gets cooled sufficiently, but not to a point where you need ear cups or ear protection to shield you against the noise, because that's not something that people are generally looking for. I think we're gonna choose our first winner, because we have a schedule to keep, right? So Ja, take it away.
Many keys to be given away today, right? So we got to keep it up, and you guys should definitely not miss out on the chance of winning one of those, because you can still register. We have many more coming up. Just go to msite.com/2/insider or keep a track on the chat, because we have a bot just spamming the direct link to the giveaway. So the first winner of today's Watch Dogs Legion game key giveaway is, let me see. It is drawing right now in our random system.
Yes.
A little bit slow.
Yeah, it takes a while. I guess there's a lot of people.
Yeah. We have it. It's Fletcher.
Fletcher.
So congratulations. With Watch Dogs Legion game key. It's coming your way in the coming days.
Yep.
So yeah, really have fun with it. And to the rest of you guys, don't worry, we have more coming up.
Exactly.
Just,
and if you haven't participated yet, guys, go over to msite.com/2/insider or follow the Gleam link in the chat. If you cannot see it, we're streaming on multiple platforms. We're streaming on YouTube, Twitch, Facebook, multiple channels of Facebook actually, and multiple channels of Twitter or Periscope. Usually some channels tend to block links or URLs that we're trying to share, like a giveaway link. So if you want to make sure that you're not missing out, check either YouTube or Twitch. Those two are usually the best bet. Those don't really block links, so this should be okay. And yeah, participate. Make sure if you have these loyalty points that you can apply. Again, that is new in this stream today. We're trying to see if we can do something extra, a little bit extra for our regular viewers. And yeah, see how it goes, guys. Good luck.
Alrighty.
Yep. Okay. Yeah. Right. Direct comparison then, because I still want to show you guys that. Because there is a lot of difference between these cards, all these three of them. See, I don't even have enough space to actually kind of put them together. Ventus, as stated, is our MSRP card, so that one is also relatively the smallest, even though a 3080 is still a pretty big card. And maybe if I could put them like this, and we can go to the close-up cam view. Not sure if this actually catches them. Yeah, there we go. Okay. Ventus, Gaming, Supreme. So you can really tell the difference, right? I mean, this card is the slimmest of them all, basically. Basically, especially on the height. So this one actually only gets to this point of the gaming card. So it's a little bit, well, it will stick out less towards the edge of your case from your motherboard. Other than that, it still takes around 3 slots in width. So that doesn't change much. The gaming as well, and so does the Supreme. But you can really see the difference when it comes to, especially also the length. So let me see if I can put these cards next to each other like this.
Nuno is asking, does MPG Sakura 500X have enough space for the Supreme? Actually, we are going to showcase that today too.
That's something we're planning to showcase, yeah. So, yeah, going from, what is it for you guys? Right to left, basically. I'm trying to make sure they don't fall, because I'm holding up a camera and these 3 cards at the same time. But yeah, this is Ventus, Gaming, Supreme. I mean, this is like the ultimate visual, right? This shows you exactly which one is more high-end than the other. It's like a staircase. Yeah, please be kind with these GPUs. I'm trying to be careful, guys. I'm trying not to drop them, of course. Trust me, I'm a trained professional.
Oh, so far so good.
Yeah, but I mean it's definitely a big card, but we always try to keep within certain limits, of course, because you know, if you cannot put it into your case, then it's no good at all.
Ramen Rider, they're not fat, they're just thick.
Yeah, thick boys. Also, maybe a difference in the backplates. I mean, all of these cards on the 30 series, this generation, you can clearly see they have these leaf springs at the back for added mounting pressure of the cooler, which is also one of the reasons why you can actually see the capacitors at the back of the GPU. Normally in the previous generations, at least our cards never really had a hole there, so it was like a completely closed backplate. This is the Ventus, as you can see, and if I'm not mistaken, this is the graphene backplate on it. 3080 Ventus. Let me be precise with that. And then we have the gaming, with also the black graphene composite, I should say. It's a composite, so it's a combination of graphene and other materials, mostly plastic. But the mix of graphene makes it have thermal and thermal properties, and makes it also stronger, which you can really feel if you have two of these backplates together and you try to bend them. For example, the one with graphene in it is just much more rigid. Of course, it's not quite as rigid or effective at cooling, for example, as metal, but that's not really the point. That's also not what we were aiming for with the graphene composite backplate. So this is the gaming, and then of course you have the SUPRIM. And I mean, I don't think I have to explain to you guys which one is more high-end. I think that speaks for itself. How much power does the card use? Well, we'll get to that, but it does. This is a 3090, by the way, but the 3080 SUPRIM X also has 3 8-pin power connectors, and yeah, the power supply, or sorry, the power draw is indeed a lot higher. Potentially, the power limit that you are allowed to set it to is a lot higher than. For example, the Founders Edition, or even then the Gaming X Trio, which was, the Gaming X Trio already had a higher power limit than Founders Edition. But this one, yeah, even takes it up quite a bit. So it's a big boy. Is the word SUPRIM in the dictionary? No, but neither is Frozr. And I mean, you know, Twin Frozr, Tri-Frozr, Zero Frozr, those are all really good things. So it's not a requirement for a name or a word to be in the dictionary for it to be good. By the way, one thing I noticed, I was looking at this one earlier on and I got this sample. This one obviously has been used a bit for testing and stuff like that. And I noticed that this middle fan sticker here, there were some, it looked like it was scratched. I'm not sure if you guys can see this clearly. Maybe. Let's see if the camera can focus on it. And I was about to do something about that when I thought maybe I should do this live on stream, because maybe a lot of people are facing the same thing, where I actually didn't realize that these fan stickers, they actually have like a protective plastic layer on top of them. And so I can basically just peel that off and then it will look good as new. And I bet most of you guys, if you actually have these cards, you never even noticed really that there was like a fan sticker on here. But as you can see, here we go.
The satisfaction.
Yeah, exactly. So I was really thinking like this, it looks kind of matted and you know, it's like it's losing its glossy finish. But that was just because there was still a fan sticker on it. So yeah, if you guys have these cards at home and you're not sure if, you know, if the sticker is still on there, because actually it's hard to see. There isn't like a lip on the outside anywhere that tells you like, oh, you're supposed to pull this off. You can still do that. Anyway. I'm seeing people asking about the teardown. Yeah, I think let's move on to that. Let's see. Okay. So I have my little screwdriver kit here. Mostly, if you know what you're doing and you're a bit experienced in these things, basically we don't advise you to open up the card if it's not necessary, obviously. If it's working just fine, there's no reason to do it. In general, we don't advise you to do that. But we want to show you guys what's inside the card. Basically, so you don't have to, because there's like a little sticker on one of the screws here that says, factory seal. That's all it says, and an MSI logo. But it basically means that if this thing is broken and you ever RMA the card, our RMA people are going to look very closely to see if the RMA was caused by anything you might have done when taking the card apart. Because obviously if there's user-caused damage, if you happen to scrape a component with your screwdriver, yeah, that's not really covered by a warranty, as you can imagine. So if you don't have to open it up, you don't have to. All right, so let's see. I'm gonna see if I can move the camera a bit closer for you guys. See if I can point it downwards so you guys can see it. What I'll start out with is obviously removing the screws of the backplate. So as you can see, there's a lot of small screws that basically fix everything, fix the backplate to the PCB. And some of them actually will go through the PCB and connect with the heatsink, which at multiple points will give it more tensile strength. So let's just take these off one by one. In the meantime, maybe we can cover some chat questions if you want. Ja?
Yeah, there are also some compliments regarding design. People
Break
really
it.
like it.
I hope not.
Yeah. Also, there was, let me see, there was a question regarding, where did it go? Oh yeah, so Michael is asking, he's familiar with the Seahawk series.
Yes.
Will there also be a Seahawk revival for the RTX 30 series?
I'm not allowed to tell you.
Ooh, it's getting sensitive, guys.
Yeah, well, like I do, like, okay, well, I'll let my mug speak for me. I especially the bottom part, I know things. But yeah, I'm not saying it's never going to happen, but I'm also not saying and not really sure if and when it's going to happen. I know they're looking into it, but I don't have like a definitive date or details or specs yet. So I know that it's something we're looking into, but I also know that our full efforts at the moment are pointed and are going towards trying to improve supply of the existing models as much as possible, and to see what we can do to optimize that. So, yeah, for that one, I can honestly say you'll just have to wait and see.
And also, if you can tell the chat the entire lineup of Supreme.
The entire lineup. Well. There is 3090 SUPRIM, which is the thing I'm doing a teardown on right now, the card. SUPRIM X rather. So the X obviously is like gaming, means that it's out of the box higher clock speed, factory overclocked. Then there is or will be a non-OC version of these cards as well. So 3090 SUPRIM. Those will have a bit lower clock speeds, but if I saw it correctly, they should still be quite near to the gaming X clock speeds. Which just shows you that, you know, these models are capable of you know, very high clock speeds and sustaining them and making sure everything works correctly. But it's also really reliant on the GPU binning, basically. So the quality of the GPU, what clock speeds it can adequately sustain for any amount of time. Anyway, because it needs to obviously work. It needs to keep working. It needs to be stable. Anyway, then there will be, there is a 3080 SUPRIM X, also again a 3080 with higher out-of-the-box clock speeds. And later in the stream, I can maybe pull up some specs for you guys. But honestly, if you want to know more about that, the product page for pages, actually I should say, for these products are already online, so you can find this on our website. So SUPRIM X 3080, a SUPRIM non-X, so 3080 SUPRIM, and there will also be 3070. I think it's already announced. 3070 SUPRIM X, again out of the box, higher clock speeds, and a 3070 non-X or non-OC. That's I think pretty much it for at least from what I know and what has been made public, obviously.
I feel like I'm being challenged by Robert in the chat, who's saying...
personally?
Yeah, I think so. I feel like I'm being spoken to indirectly.
Right.
Because
okay.
he's saying,
what is he saying to you?
He's saying, well, it's a good thing that Peter is taking out all the screws, because we know someone else who is quite good at losing the screws.
Yeah, I think that's...
he didn't name me by name, but
I think that's... I understood that reference.
I'm on to you, Robert.
All right. Okay, guys. One moment here. Here's the backplate. And as you can see, because it's 3090 and the 3090 has memory modules on the rear of the PCB, it needs extra cooling. So that's why we put these heat pipes basically on the backplate. And the backplate being metal, that conducts heat very well. So that's also an extra reason why having these heat pipes on them is actually a really good idea and really helps with keeping those rear-mounted VRAM modules on the PCB cool. So they get their own personal cooling, if you will. And as you can see, there's multiple places where we have like thermal pads that are really nice and sticky here. And you can also see the indentation of some of the components, which just means that they're actually pressing into them and contacting, which means they're transferring heat to the backplate. And these actually, they cover the back. I could probably show this. I mean, there's multiple on the graphics. On the backplate here, here, obviously on the memory modules, but also even on the. Here these heat pipes here, they actually contact on the rear of the heatsink, which is here. This plate at the end of where the PCB ends, pretty much. But here you can see. Sure, yeah, you guys can see that, right? It's like a darker area where the thermal pads connect. So you can pretty much tell which components they connect with. So these are this is the rear of some of the power components. Let's see, that is actually, are they the MOSFETs? I'm expecting them to be the MOSFETs. So yeah, they get quite hot, also the rear of it. So that can also do with some extra cooling. Here you can see this white part is where the LED strip on the side is located. And as you can see, the LEDs are actually embedded into the PCB. So these little stripes here, those are the RGB LEDs. You can also quite clearly see the little dual BIOS switch here now. And actually the text is now upside down. But maybe, here we go. So it also says on the PCB gaming and silent. It's a switch. What else can I show you guys here?
Well, in the meantime, maybe inform a little bit on the backplate, because we have people talking about the backplate material. Yeah,
it's brushed aluminum. So this here, as you can see, the front, or the outside, what you usually see, you can already see the brushed finish. But even on the inside, obviously most of it is covered by a protective layer, a non-conductive layer, which is this, which if the backplate were to accidentally touch any of the components, it will prevent any short circuiting, because obviously metal doesn't just conduct heat, it also conducts electricity. So that's why you want to prevent any kind of accidental, unintentional electrical transfer. Science indeed. But as you can see, where that little protective layer stops, here you can just see basically the unprotected metal also on the back side, on the rear of the back plate, which really shows you that yes, it is, you know, brushed aluminum. It is really metal. Any other questions? How much thermal pad? I'm wanting to say yes. That's basically saying plenty. As in for the backplate, because obviously, I mean, again, the backplate doesn't really provide active cooling. It really depends on, it acts like a passive heatsink, pretty much. So heat will get transported from whatever component is connected to either the thermal pads or the heat pipes, and will be transferred basically to the surface area of the backplate. But that in and of itself, it helps a little bit, but it doesn't make that big of a difference. The thing that makes the difference is then if you then have airflow in your case, which blows past or over the backplate, which actually then takes the heat from the backplate and then transports it away. That's what makes it work. And so, you know, a backplate by itself can help a bit, but it's not nearly as effective as like a full heatsink with like all these fins in it, for example. This is really, yeah, I don't want to say the ultimate, but it's a very good design, especially made for that purpose. The backplate has multiple purposes. You know, it's meant to, well, look nice, obviously. It's meant to give structural strength to the card, and then as a additional value, it can help a little bit to disperse some heat, but that's not its main purpose. So I think that's good to know and to see, you know, what is actually the main purpose of a backplate. It's not the main purpose of a backplate to disperse heat. Otherwise, you would probably see backplates with fin stacks on top of it. I mean, those would work really well, but to be honest, you cannot really do that because you don't have the space available on the backplate to actually do that. Otherwise, it would conflict or you know, invade the space of other components, like for example memory slots, CPU coolers. So you actually cannot do that. You simply don't have the space for it. What does the GPU taste like? Holy crap! I was not ready for that question. I have no idea, and honestly, I have no intention of finding out.
Well, it depends on what part, right?
But it's a really freaking interesting question. I have to tell you, I have to commend you for that. Yeah, please lick it. No, that was not going to happen, guys. Honestly, I want to live longer than you know, tonight. So now's not the time to start licking GPUs.
Maybe before you start,
if you want to know how it finds out, how it tastes, buy one. Take it apart and lick it yourself, please. It's
every single part.
It's a matter of taste, I guess. I could tell you how it tastes to me, but it's probably different to you. That's a good excuse for saying you have to do it yourself, right?
Peter, before you continue with the GPU, so we have some questions regarding the keyboard. So we have the GK50 right there. Maybe you can show a little bit to them?
Yeah, of course.
So that's the keyboard.
I don't want to interrupt the main story too much, but I mean, and I noticed that, there was a website recently that, I forgot which one, but that actually elected the GK50 Elite, which is this one, as the best clicky typing keyboard. The GK50 Elite, there's two variants. The one probably most commonly found is the one with, I don't know if I can actually pull it closer without like destroying some wires. With a box white switch, and the box white switch is actually a lot sturdier basically than your typical mechanical switch. So it's a mechanical keyboard. We actually did a stream about this a while ago, so if you want more information about this keyboard, it is one of my favorites and it's a really good one. One of Mike's favorites as well, and if you guys know Mike, you know he's a keyboard enthusiast. So he really likes this one as well. Yeah, all around just a really fantastic product. But yeah, you can watch the stream about the GK50 Elite if you want to know more about it. But yeah, it's definitely a really good choice. If you can get your hands on one, do it. How does it smell like? Oh God, are we going into the sensory questions now? Should we continue with the teardown?
All right.
Yeah. If that's okay with you guys. And Ja, please do interrupt me when it's time to give away another code, right? Feel free.
I'm about to
I'm
very
pretty
fast.
sure our audience doesn't mind. Okay, so next up, I'm going to try and leave as many of the thermal pads in place as I can, because it's a nightmare getting them back in place once you've removed them. Don't do that if you can possibly avoid it, obviously. So next up is the leaf spring, because this is the thing that's actually keeping the cooler at most of the cooler attached to the PCB and to the GPU and applying a lot of pressure. So you'll notice, I mean, I've done this in a previous stream as well. You'll probably notice when I start undoing this one, it will, it actually, there's a lot of force behind it. I'm actually gonna do it in a cross fashion, so doing the one opposite from the other one. But as you can see, then once it comes loose, there's a lot of pressure applied to this. This is, this really helps to add more pressure and apply more pressure, so the cooler really connects even better and more flush to the GPU die. So as you can see, this thing was flat when it was screwed down, and now it's like this. That's it's called a leaf spring. You can also find leaf springs in other fashions on cars and trucks. But yeah, heavy duty thing, this one. Let me see if, because this card is just so well built. There's a lot more screws than I'm used to. Let me just see if I'm missing any of them.
Well, we look for that.
Yes.
So, yeah, guys, I see there's still people, newcomers dropping in and asking about if this Supreme or Supreme X is also available for AMD. So for now, it's not available. It doesn't mean anything. We're not stating anything, but it's just we only have it for RDX 30s for now. Well, Peter's still busy with the car teardown, so I guess it is time for another giveaway.
It's always a good time for that.
Yeah, if you just joined, don't worry. You didn't miss out on anything, because we still have more to be given away, because we're doing the Opera today, because everybody's getting a key, right? Well, not everybody. So just go to msite.com/2/insider, and you can still grab one of the Watch Dogs Legion game key today during the stream.
We've got some to give away today, guys.
So the second winner of today's game key giveaway is Julio. Congratulations,
or if
Julio.
you want to be more like Latin or suave about it,
Julio.
I don't know if you want us to pronounce it like that. We could just say Julio.
We can throw them both in there. Julio or Julio.
Yeah.
Congratulations. Hope you have a lot of fun with Watch Dogs Legion. And to the rest of you guys, make sure to tune in. The more actions you perform, the more chances you have at winning one of the still left game keys. And also check out the bonus program, because today is the first time we have launched the program. Just to show some more love to the viewers that keep coming back to us. We really appreciate that.
Yep. Just to be clear, because I see people saying the name is with a G. No, it's with a J. So it's Julio, Julio. But again, if you're from a Mediterranean or Spanish or Latin country, the J is pronounced like an H, so it's Julio. Anyway, we'll get the code out to you, obviously. I think the very next thing I have to do is, take the screws off of the I/O panel here. So you can see two of them here that are actually connecting the black part here, which is the anti-bending bracket on the card itself, which then in turn runs pretty much halfway the length of the card, pretty much, I would say. I have already undone some screws that hold it in place, because those actually go through from the backplate through the PCB and then into this bracket. So again, that's really what also helps it give more strength to the card. But in order to take the rest off, I think, I might have to take 3 screws off, because there's 3 screws there's one at the bottom here and then 2 at the top. So I'm going to see, maybe I don't even have to do that, but let's just, for good measure, take these off. See what happens. If I break something, you know what we do, right? We blame Eric.
Exactly.
Oh, ooh. So
Oh, we almost lost one there.
I know, yeah. Like using a magnetic screwdriver is usually a really good idea, but if you're gonna fling them around like I just did, it doesn't really work to your advantage.
Ooh, Peter, we have a very difficult question.
Yes.
What's the difference between the X and the non-X?
That's actually one of the easiest questions
Yeah.
for me. The X and the non-X, with both gaming and Supreme, basically just means the X is factory overclocked. So that means, I mean, both of them technically are factory overclocked. None of them, I think, are running at actually like stock NVIDIA speeds. But the X version is clocked higher out of the box. So it will have a higher a base and boost clock out of the box compared to a non-X or non-OC version. And X is basically only applied on gaming card or gaming series and Supreme. We have a similar concept on other cards like Ventus, for example, but there it's called OC. So you will see Ventus OC models and Ventus non-OC models. It's the same principle. Ventus OC models just come with a higher clock speed out of the box, so they tend to boost a bit higher as well. So you get a bit nice performance boost, a nice performance bump from them compared to the non-OC models. All right, so I've completely removed the I/O bracket, as you can see, and now this thing has come free. So let's see if I can actually take this thing out. If not, then it's probably going around some parts where I actually have to remove the cooler first. So let's see what happens. So I think it's not really attached to anything with screws anymore, but it could be like wrapped around the design in a way that it's, that the cooler has to come out first, which I'm actually, oh no, actually there we go. Here we go. So here's the, the anti-bending bracket on the graphics card, and this is metal, and it's quite thick compared to some other materials on the card, as you can see here. And this really, gives the card even more strength structurally to prevent any kind of bending and stuff like that. And there's also, it's not just metal. At the parts where, for example, it touches with other parts like the heatsink or the PCB, it will have like these rubber standoffs. And this is basically just, a graphics card, it has moving parts. It has fans, obviously, that spin, so there's going to be some vibration. And these standoffs, for example, they will make sure that even if there's vibration, you will not hear it. Because if there's two hard materials touching each other and there's going to be vibration, you're going to hear it, right? You're going to hear that like a ticking sound or something. This is all to prevent any kind of noise or just to make sure it's silent. Okay, all right, let's see. So here's again the PCB on the back side, and here's the cooler on the front. So I've completely removed the I/O bracket and the anti-bending bracket. And now I'm going to see if I can actually, very carefully though, take the cooler off. And I don't know if I'm missing any screws or not, but we will find out soon enough. And once I gently wriggle the cooler off, hopefully, I should still disconnect some of the cables that are connecting both the fans and the RGB to the heatsink, or sorry, to the PCB. Whoa, this is more secured without any screws basically than the other cards I've taken apart.
We'll let Peter do his magic. And so we have someone asking regarding the power supply recommendations. So he's currently using the 750 watt power supply, and for this card, yes, you can get away with it. 750 is recommended, and higher of course is always more better. No problem with the 750 watts PSU.
Yeah, however, a little side note there, some of these cards, especially this is a 3090, because our power limit, I think on this one goes up to maybe like 480 watts or something like 408, so something ridiculously high like that. So we do recommend to add like 100 watts to the NVIDIA recommended spec, just to be safe, because we don't know what you guys are going to do with your cards or your complete build. So if you for example, I don't know, put a Threadripper or some really high-end an i9 10900K in there and overclock the hell out of it, you still want to make sure you have enough headroom to actually do that. So that's why, for example, for the 3090, I think we actually recommend having at least a 850 watt power supply, which might sound a bit on the heavy side, but again, it's, you know, we want to make sure that you have sufficient headroom to do anything you'd like to do with it, including overclocking to a ridiculous degree. And for a 3080, I think we advise a 750 watt power supply. And it also depends, you know, power supplies. I think Eric, you know, they had a stream about it last week. I'm sure they touched on the different types of power supplies and for example, 80 plus gold and platinum, that kind of thing. It has to be a power supply of good quality, obviously. Otherwise, you know, it could say, I don't know, like 850 on the box, but you might only be getting 650 out of it, which obviously could be a big bummer if you're starting to do some overclocking and then suddenly everything just goes black. Anyway. Yeah, I think I'm getting somewhere, guys, because I was, you know, seeing on some corners of the PCB, seeing if I can get some flex into it, and I seem to be getting, you know, tearing it away a little bit from the heatsink. But again, I'm trying to be careful because these things actually have to be put back together. There we go. Ooh, now we're getting somewhere. Okay, so as I mentioned, as you can see, once you disconnect the PCB, I'm going to stand up for this one because it might be easier to show you guys. You need to be careful. Don't just rip it off. Never do that anyway, but there's still these cables attached, and one of these cables will be for the fans, for example, so fan duty and making them spin. And the other one will be for RGB at one or several parts of the card. And there's some connectors on this part as well, on this side of the PCB. So I'm now going to try and gently disconnect them. Again, I think we should put a warning on the screen every time we do a teardown, Ja. What do you think? Like, don't try this at home. We're doing this so you don't have to.
I think that's definitely going to spare a lot of complaints.
Well, again, you know, we don't. We just think it's interesting to show you this kind of stuff because normally you don't get to see it.
Yeah, we actually did have a few commenters saying, "Oh, great! We have never seen such a car being taken apart yet."
Yeah.
So yeah, very nice for you guys. And okay, someone is also asking. He's currently using 5700 XT, mainly play on 144 hertz. I mean 144p. 144 hertz and 1440.
Yeah, those things mix nicely, don't
they? It's like there's like 4 fours in there. But should you upgrade to the 3090 Supreme? I mean, if you want to achieve the full 144 hertz, you should definitely upgrade because the 5700 XT is a decent card for 1440p, but with AAA types of game, it's really difficult to really crank out the 144 FPS. And that's really where the 3090 start to shine, even the 4K.
Yeah, I always saw some people saying PCB junkies. Yeah, well, here you go, guys. This is for you.
It looks actually really neat for somebody who is maybe even a little bit OCD. It looks very neat.
It does, yeah.
Well aligned.
So there's a lot of power phases on this one, more than the gaming one. I actually didn't count them, and I'm not about to. But trust me when I say this one is upgraded in terms of power components and power phases compared to the gaming X-Trio. Of course, you've got the protective fuses here, those gold little things. So again, this is just to prevent any additional damage. Should anything happen to it, then the card is still more likely to be saved, let's say, or repaired by RMA. Yeah, hell of a lot of power delivery components there.
Robert is saying, well, if you put this card now into your PC, will there be fireworks?
No, I just don't think it will turn on, to be honest. I just don't think it will do anything. And yeah, the BIOS switch is located on the back. So again, there you have it, near the power connectors. So yeah, the GPU, I'm actually not gonna polish it off because yeah, again, when we put it back together, I do want the original thermal paste to be on there. So a lot of the memory modules, obviously. So there's, I think they might actually be 24. It's 24 gigs, obviously. This is 3090, but I'm not sure if there's 24 modules. I guess so, if you count them on the back as well. So yeah, big ass PCB, a lot of components. Yeah, that VRM count is insane indeed. But again, this is a 3090, so the potential power usage is also insane. So you need to kind of match it with an equally insane PWM design or power, power component design. And then again, with the SUPRIM compared to the gaming, we actually tried to, we gave it a higher power limit, a far higher power limit maximum. So not out of the box, it's already higher power limit, but it then still has more headroom to do overclocking or use more power. So it is really truly ridiculous what this thing can handle. Are those 3 8-pin? Yes. There you go. And these are the regular, because we tend to get a lot of questions about this as well. Obviously, with the current generation, NVIDIA has introduced a special, unique power connector. I think it was 12-pin, or yeah, 12-pin, I think. And it's a proprietary design, so that basically means that you have to have a special connector. You cannot use the same ones that you normally do. We actually, on our cards, on all of our cards, we still use the regular what we call PCIe or PEG connectors. So either there will be 8-pin like these, or there are some examples with a 6-pin connector added as well. And those are the ones you typically find on power supplies, and they've been used for a long time. So those, if you are upgrading, these are the power connectors you are likely to already have in your PC. So it should be compatible with pretty much everything you have. All right. Then, let me show you guys the cooler. So as you can see, I mean, this is really the bulk of the graphics card, the thing that uses up most of the weight budget, let's say. Of the 2 kilograms that the card weighs, or almost 2 kilograms, this will probably be, I don't know, 75% of the weight. So it's the heatsink, obviously, and the fans and some RGB inside of it. The fans, they are Torx 4.0, which you can tell by the links, the pairs of fan blades linked together with an outer link, which provides more airflow down into the, or more concentrated airflow, I should say, down into the heatsink. And at the bottom of the heatsink, I mean, here's also one of the major differences when it comes down to comparing to a gaming X-Trio, for example. The gaming X-Trio has the core pipes basically connected directly onto the GPU. This one this one also has a base plate, copper, nickel, nickel-coated base plate. So it is copper, but you don't see the copper coloring, basically, the golden copper finish, because of the nickel coating. And that's also why it looks so shiny. And it also touches some of the memory modules. So as you can see, there's a thermal pad here, which connects to the single memory module located under the GPU. And then the top row of memory modules are actually, you might see some of those 90-degree angle marks here. That's pretty much where the memory modules are seated and situated, and also the thermal pad that covers it. And then, so it's pretty much half covered by the base plate and half covered by the dedicated heat pipe and heat sink for those RAM modules on the 3090. And as you can see, the heat pipe runs pretty much in a U shape around the GPU, so touching pretty much, yeah, almost all of the memory, and then except on this side, because there the memory modules are located here. But this part of the heatsink, show you this way maybe. As you can see, this part is separated, so it doesn't really touch the GPU part due to this partition here. So this is actually a separate heatsink, and so a dedicated heatsink with heat pipe connected for the memory modules. And you can also see that, well, especially when looking at it from the side, which I was also kind of showing you guys when I'm trying to make sure I don't grab the thermal paste when the card was still assembled. But yeah, this part here, that's where that's the dedicated heatsink for the memory modules, with its own fin stack, and then underneath it, as I showed you guys, the dedicated heat pipe running along the outside of the GPU. And yeah, for the person who was asking how many thermal pads, I mean, these are almost all of them stuck to the cooling actually. I was going to say maybe some of them even stuck to the PCB, but it's only two blocks basically for the memory modules. But you can see there's thermal pads here, yeah, pretty much everywhere along the length of the card. So yeah, with a lot of the power components on this side, and this is actually near the, on this side will be the I/O bracket. So this actually covers all the power components on this side, so this whole row here, with yeah, all of the capacitors, the MOSFETs, what are these called again? I forget. Anyway, yeah, all of these power components here, this whole stack or row. And then on this side also, obviously these are covered. The same here with the caps and the MOSFETs here, those little square black guys. And then these components here as well. So yeah, all cooled by the heatsink. And this again is a 3090, guys, just to be clear. But 3080 thermal design should be, yeah, I think pretty much identical for SUPRIM. Other than, for example, the backplate of the 3080 SUPRIM will not have the heat pipes on it, because there are no memory modules on the rear of the PCB of a 3080. So it's not really necessary. So instead, the 3080 still employs a brushed metal aluminum backplate, but it employs a lot more of the thermal pads instead of a heat pipe to still yeah, provide some thermal conductivity and help with cooling passively. Nickel plated, yeah. So indeed, so this the base plate is copper nickel plated, and then yeah, this part of the heatsink is also it's basically just a base plate, a big base plate which runs, well, it's just one solid part really. I mean these you cannot really take these off. These are, I think, soldered on actually. They're not really screwed on there. These are actually soldered onto the heatsink, so I cannot take any part of this, not even the memory, the separate memory cooling or heatsink. I cannot take that off. That is actually fixed and soldered, or yeah, at least you cannot take it off. It's not attached by screws. But that's yeah, a pretty big freaking heatsink right there. And as you can see, like tons of fins, which helps to dissipate the heat. Some of the technology found in the fins, for example, and in the heatsink is similar or the same as the Trifrozer 2 on gaming. So, for example, here the deflectors, which help to create more surface area and spread the heat directly onto the heat pipes, so where the heat is concentrated, so better cooling. but also on top of the heatsink, there is, let me see, through the fan blades, you can see that the wave curved pattern of the fin stack on the upper side, which is to allow the air to pass through a bit more efficiently and produce less noise in the process by eliminating turbulence as the air hits the fins and then moves down into the heatsink. Another nice touch is also, as you can see on the fans, the sticker in the middle. It's actually a bit 3D. I'm not sure if you guys can see this. So, like the dragon is 3D printed, or I'm not sure if it's printed, but it's it's sticking out, if you will. Whereas, for example, if I take the gaming card, I mean, this also looks pretty nice, but this is just a black, I don't know, print, or it's basically it's flat, but it's there's no 3D effect there. So again, it's also in a lot of the details that the SUPRIM card is more premium. But that is a big boy. All right.
Yes, indeed. So a few people asking regarding the Cold War bundle. Yes, also for the SUPRIM, you can get the the game for free right now if you can get a SUPRIM RTX 30 card. And if if you're asking about the pre-order, well, that's going to be dependent on NVIDIA. So we're not sure how that's going to work. So you have to check that out.
Yeah. I see somebody actually saying something I didn't do. Paul Gale, you say 10 fan blade instead of 9 fins. I'm actually... Now the gaming also has, like, I think actually the fans on SUPRIM are a little bit bigger. Let's see if you can you tell? I want to put them side by side. So it's not like a perspective difference. These things are actually held side by side. So the gaming fans, the Torx 4.0 fans, they are, I believe, 92 millimeters. And on the SUPRIM, they should be 10. So the fans are also just a little bit bigger, which helps with cooling efficiency and producing more airflow. But it also means that if these two fans were to achieve the same amount of airflow, the fan of the SUPRIM doesn't have to get quite up as high to, it requires lower RPM to achieve the same airflow, let's put it that way. So that basically means that in order to achieve the same amount of airflow, the SUPRIM cooler will be able to do that in a quieter way because the fans don't have to spin quite as fast as, for example, the gaming. Anyway. But, I mean, interesting. You said, so 10 blades. I mean, both of the gaming card and SUPRIM, so both the cards that use Torx 4.0, they both have the 10 fan blades because they have 5 pairs of 2, which equals then 10, of course. So which card actually has 9? I'm actually wondering, because maybe it's then, let me check, let me get the Ventus here as well. Oh crap, I don't want to count those, that's way too many. Definitely not 9 though, I can tell you that just by looking at it. That's not 9, I don't believe that for a second. But it could be an odd number if that's what you're going for, indeed. I've heard some people saying that odd number of fan blades is sometimes also quite common. In this case, I'm not 100% sure. I'm not going to sit here and count it. I'll do that when the camera is not pointed at me.
Very nice.
Too much pressure, guys. Too much pressure. All right, let's. I think the next thing on our agenda was to do some gameplay and benchmark. Wait a minute. I didn't think this through, did I?
Yeah, it just got taken apart.
Okay. Right. Well.
I guess you still have time to put it back together, right?
Maybe.
When I do the giveaway.
But maybe we have a better idea because maybe we did think about this, and this was just like our attempt at like a little bit of a joke
Sneaky
for you
Pete.
Guys.
Sneaky Pete.
Yeah.
Oh,
anyway,
thank you. Give it to me. Yes. Yes.
We yeah. I'm just gonna put this down right in front of you where you cannot touch it. Is that okay?
Yeah, I will just grab it like after the stream, so that's okay.
Careful with it though, careful with it. Okay, let me just make sure I don't mess up and lose any screws, like, you know, somebody else I know who sometimes does that.
Who could that be? I think Michiel.
Yeah, probably. Okay. No, guys, I actually spent most of yesterday putting something together so I could actually show you guys the performance of one of these cards in real time, but also trying to show off the looks. So let's see if I can actually get it onto the table without breaking anything. Here we go. So, this here, I'll maybe start with the case, but I think, Jai, I think you can put the specs on the screen, right? We actually made a little bit of a spec overview for you guys.
Do my magic.
Poof, there it is. So this PC, the case is a Sekira 100R. The R stands for RGB, which of course you can see, the case has a lot of RGB. The motherboard that we're using in here, maybe can you go to the close-up cam? I'll see if I can show it better this way. Here we go. The motherboard we're using is an X570 Ace motherboard. The CPU is really badass. We have a Ryzen 9 5950X. That's a 16-core, 32-thread beast. Cooling that is a Core Liquid 240R. So the 240 millimeter radiator with 2 RGB fans, as you can see. Pretty friggin' sweet. Then, of course, you can see the thing that I want to show you guys. This is the 3080 SUPRIM. As you can see, it also has the 3 power connectors. It has the LED in the... Let me see if I can actually maneuver this thing in here without hitting anything. The glorious RGB going on. And as you can see, the RGB runs pretty much the whole side length of the card here. And then of course we, let's see if I can show you guys the underside a little bit. So the arrows you could see in the design, right there for example, those are also lighting up. But it's a bit subtle, it's a bit more subtle, because we also knew that most people would probably be mounting these cards in this fashion. So most cases will mount them horizontally like this. So that's also why we put a lot of emphasis and made sure that it looks good on the side that's facing you, on the side that's facing up, obviously, the backplate. And it still looks pretty friggin' sweet like this. In case you want to mount it vertically, you still have some nice RGB effects going on there as well. Let's see, what else can I show? As you can also see, at the moment I'm not using any kind of support here. And even if I wiggle the case a bit like this, you can see that there's pretty much no flex or nothing going on. I've just made sure that the card is properly seated. And of course I've connected the screws, both of them, at the back of the expansion slots here. And that really should be enough. But if you're still worried, we do of course still have the graphics card support. Here it is. And what you can do there, and you have to be careful because you have to consider there are 3 fans obviously on the underside of the graphics card. At the moment they're not spinning. Actually knocked over the graphics card support there. At the moment they're not spinning. That's called zero frozzer. The card is actually not heating up to any degree, so there's no necessity for the fans to spin, so they are stopped. But at some point, if you are going to be gaming or benchmarking or whatever, they are going to start spinning. So you don't want to put the support stand up against one of the fan blades, because that will either stop it or it will start spinning and just hitting the support stand a bit, which either in the best case scenario just generates a whole lot of annoying noise, and in the worst case it might damage the fan blade, so you don't want to do that obviously. Let me just move this back a little bit so I can show you guys how I do this pretty much. So what you do is then you just take the stand, you make sure that this vertical part is screwed in tightly so it doesn't start spinning. You can undo the screw at the back of the support part here. Then basically you just let that slide down to the bottom. Then you place this thing near the end of the card, preferably, like this. And yeah, make sure that your case can actually fit this thing in. Obviously this is I would say regular size case, but you can already see if I would move it more to the middle, I could run into problem because then it starts hitting some of the fans or potentially even the radiator. If you have a really big case, this should not be an issue at all. You can just place it wherever you want. But in this case, literally case, I will do it near the rear of the graphics card because that's where I have enough space left. And then I can simply just lift it up until it touches the graphics card. You don't have to push it up, obviously. As you can see, I can do that, but that's really not helping and not necessary. Just lift it up until where it touches the bottom. And then just gently tighten this screw here. And that should be it. And then basically, if anything should happen and your card gets any pressure from above, well, I have no idea why that would ever happen, but I don't know, a sudden increase of gravity force, I have no idea, then yeah, this thing will support it. But like I said earlier as well, please do not put this thing in your case when you are going to transport it, because as you can see, I can just pull it out like this without too much force. So that means if you are hitting a speed bump at any time, this thing can come loose and start creating all kinds of damage in your case. So make sure to take this thing out if you are going to transport your PC. So for now, I'm also going to take it out because again, it really isn't necessary. Yes, it's a very heavy, very big card, but nowadays motherboards, especially our motherboards, are built with that in mind. The PCIe slots are actually strengthened to a certain degree so they can handle the extra weight of some of these graphics cards. And I mean, the screws at the end here are also vital to attach them correctly. And then we have, of course, in the card itself, to prevent sagging or bending, we have, for example, anti-bending measures in place. We make sure that the backplate helps to also make the card more rigid, so that it also helps to prevent any kind of sagging. So there should not really be any issues regarding that. All right, continuing then with the specs, because I don't want to cheap out on any of the things that I want to mention. Here's one of the power supplies. I think you guys also, if you joined the stream last week, you saw last week. This is the MPG A850GF. So this is an 850 watt power supply. And if you consider that in here the CPU is really high end, I think this thing has a over 100 watts standard TDP or power usage, and you can push this quite easily above 150 if you start overclocking, or you know, maybe even towards 200 watts. And compare that or add to that we have a 3080 in here, and we could have actually put the 3090 in, which would be even crazier power draw, but it should still be fine with an 850 watt power supply. And then of course we have some nice RGB RAM memory in here. In this case 16 gigs of DDR4 Corsair Vengeance RGB Pro. Nothing spectacular in terms of speeds, as in, you know, it's basically your bog standard 3200 megahertz DDR4. There are way faster versions available, but yeah, we decided to just go with a standard version, also because, well, the RGB on this one looked pretty nice, so it did fit the theme. And am I forgetting anything inside the case? I think not, right? Well, the storage, I mean, we didn't put it there, but underneath this little plate there's an M.2 SSD, Western Digital Black, if I'm not mistaken, M.2, which I think is 500 gigs. That's pretty much, everything's put on there. But M.2 is nice and fast, so in terms of game loading and applications, that's something that just makes the system nice and fast. No stand for that build. Well, yeah, I guess you're just joined, but yeah, like I just said, you can add it in, but it's definitely not necessary for one of these cards. Your build should be able to handle it just fine. Then on the outside, I do want to complete the whole build. Ja, maybe we can go to the main view for this one.
Yes, let's go.
I have a really nice monitor right here. Oh, the thing is blocking it. Yeah, here we go. I think, Ja, this is a monitor that we actually also had a stream about.
Yes, definitely, because this was the first quantum dot version gaming monitor.
Exactly.
And well, for this one, especially if you're very into competitive games or esports, you should definitely keep an eye out for this one. And even if you just like AAA games, because this one has insane color accuracy with the IPS panel. So yeah, the MAG274QRF. And the QD stands for quantum dot. So if you're really interested in this kind of specifications, definitely make sure to check that one out.
So it's really rich color display, right? The quantum dot
Hella
really enriches the color depth. I see a question. Vibe is asking, will it replace the Gaming X Trio, the Supreme? Yes and no. Within the 30 series, no. The Gaming X Trio will continue to exist. But the Supreme is positioned above Gaming X Trio. So those two will be available and on the market simultaneously. But if you compare it, for example, to our last generation, the RTX 20 series, there the Gaming X Trio was very often our flagship or our top-end product in the lineup. So in that sense, it does replace the Gaming X Trio as our top-end flagship series. I hope that makes sense. If not, the simple version is no. Both cards will still be available.
All right, maybe before we continue, we draw the third winner of today.
Good idea.
Because we have too many keys to be given away.
That's a first world problem right there.
Oh yeah. So let's see who the third winner is of today's Watch Dogs Legion game key giveaway. Don't worry, if you just joined, you still have chances to win one of the codes because we still have more lineup for you to win. If you go to the link right there, msite.com/do/insider, and perform as many actions as you can. The more you do, the more chance you will have at winning.
Exactly.
And we have, let's see.
Yeah, so and we're also using a new system as part of our giveaway. So for the regulars, you should actually be able to apply some extra bonus points. It's not an I win button again. It's just to give you a little bit of an extra better chance to win something. Because if you are a regular viewer, we want to reward that. We want to show our appreciation to you guys. So you will have the opportunity to apply those extra points. It's not done automatically. I have to also tell you that. So it does require some manual action from your side. You do get an option to apply and claim those extra points. I think you can do it every stream. So it's not that if you do it now that those points are not available to you next stream. I think they also carry over, so you can apply them now, but next stream you'll be able to apply them again. And yeah, hopefully that gives our regular viewers a little bit of an extra chance to win.
Definitely.
Anyway,
right. Our third winner of today is Yep, or Yep. Congratulations, Yep. Hope you have fun with Watch Dogs Legion.
Yes.
And to the rest of you guys, don't worry, there's still more to come.
Yep.
So
we still have some game codes to give away this stream, so stick with us.
Alrighty.
See if we have any good questions in the chat.
Yeah, well, actually, there were also, again, people asking about the keyboard. So we have the GK50 Elite right there.
Wait, maybe maybe I can shift the close-up cam now. Oh wait, something's happening on the screen. I guess it didn't like the fact that I
So good.
moved something. Anyway, GK50 Elite, really good keyboard. Mechanical with boxed switches, which means more durability. So they're rated, I believe, for, if I'm not mistaken, 80 million clicks or actuations. And the box shape actually gives it more stability and also protects against dust or moisture a bit more. These are the box white version, so they are clicky. So I can maybe get it close to the mic. There you go, very satisfying. So these are the clicky version. I think we also have them in Kale Blue in some regions. It really depends on on your region what's available. As you can see, the RGB is per key. So each of the switches has their own RGB, LEDs, and can be controlled per key. Again, if you want to know more about this product, it is one of our, one of the more fantastic products that we've produced in the past year. I mean, 2020 was not a great year, but this was definitely one of the better things to come out of it, if you look at our products also. So yeah, we did a full stream, I believe, on this product, and maybe we also, I think we did some more products at the same time, but yeah, if you look for GK50 Elite, in the MSI Insider playlist, you will find that we have a full stream about this where we explain all the benefits and all the details of this keyboard. So yeah, you can look that up after this one if you want. Stop changing the topic, bruh, somebody's saying. I kind of agree, but I also kind of want to, make sure we don't dodge that many questions.
Yeah, so we have quite some people asking regarding the 6800 XT.
Yes.
Maybe any information regarding when we will talk about it, so they will have an idea.
Yeah, a little bit later on in the stream, because first, I really want to stick to the SUPRIM topic, because again, we've got a SUPRIM graphics card right in here, a 3080. So I do want to show you guys some gameplay with the 3080. But maybe, I don't know if we got that many questions about it.
Yeah.
Pricing information, guys, I can't really give you that. One, I honestly don't know. Not my area of expertise. I'm not a sales guy, if you hadn't noticed. I'm just an enthusiast and a marketing guy. Anyway, and availability also don't know. We're doing the best we can. We hope to offer more availability soon, and that really is the extent to which I can answer that question.
So yeah, guys, just a little bit more, time until we really start to talk about the 6800 XT. So until we finish with the SUPRIM versions.
Yes. And apart from that, so we've got the keyboard, we've got the GK50 Elite here. I've got a Clutch GM50 mouse that I'm using here as well. Right-handed ergonomic mouse with a lot of RGB and a really good sensor. Optical mouse, obviously, wired. And we've got a headset. I've just put it on this side of the monitor because I don't really have to hear the audio. I hope you guys will in a minute when we start playing the game. And I chose this one because, again, RGB is kind of the theme, right, for this build. So the GH50 also has some really nice RGB in the side of the ear cups. Otherwise, I would have chosen the GH61, which is also really excellent headset. Great sound quality with the speakers that are basically co-branded and provided by Onkyo, high-end audio brand. Let's dive into some of the details here. I think, Ja, you also wanted to talk a little bit about a monitor that I think we mentioned this before, maybe even at the 30 series launch. I remember Jensen made some remarks about some monitors with a 360 hertz refresh rate, right?
Yeah, indeed. It's just like just informative for you guys if you're planning on, like, for example, getting something really high in the refresh rate departments, especially if you're getting very powerful GPU and if you want to play a higher resolution also. In order to achieve this kind of FPS, of course, you need to have a high refresh rate gaming monitor. So that's why we also wanted to give you a bit more information regarding, some exciting stuff that's coming up, because we haven't officially launched it yet. We do have 2 of these kind of gaming monitors lined up for each of you, either really into competitive games or really into immersive AAA games. We do have some stuff to brief about this coming up.
Yeah.
So
maybe if you go to the capture, because we actually have a slide. Yes, here we go. And I'll duck away because I'm kind of blocking part of the name, right? There we go.
Yeah. So I think a lot of you guys are really into esports games, so that's why this was a very exciting product. Also for me personally, Peter too, because we also love competitive games. So next year, what this is going to be launched about January, February-ish. You can expect this to be on shelves. We're going to have this new G-Sync. So it's not G-Sync compatible, a really dedicated G-Sync with a module in their gaming monitor, which is really focused for the esport lovers. So 1080p with a rapid IPS panel, and of course the delicious 360 Hz refresh rate. That's of course something that you really want to look forward to, especially if you have a powerful GPU and with the CPU not being a bottleneck. You really want to enjoy the 360 Hz, so you need to, when you push out 360 or plus FPS, in this case, you can really make full use of it. And that's really the beauty of it. And of course, 1 ms millisecond response time and G-Sync, like I said, but the USB latency analyzer is also something I think any of you guys that's been keeping up with the tech already heard a bit about, what this is and what this does. So essentially, this is like a dedicated little module in the monitor that will really keep track of what's being inputted, and then really try to see how you can really lower the latency for you to have even more competitive edge compared to your component. So really anything here is just focused on how you can win your rounds when you're playing CSGO, Valorant, or any other competitive titles out there, because this is really what you should be using when you're really into competitive games. And of course, it also comes with a subtle, mystic light. Not too much, so it's still going to give you more FPS. So
Obviously.
This is really, right? Because this is how it goes nowadays. RGB is FPS.
That's why SUPRIM has the most RGB, because it has the best performance thanks to that RGB.
See, it all makes sense.
Yeah. Anyway, I see a lot of people asking, it's only 1080p, this monitor, are there any 4040p options? The thing is that, I'm not saying professional gamers, because I see Minchko is saying, I want 4040p, I'm not a pro gamer. Very few of us are, unfortunately. But it's more like competitive gaming. Higher resolutions tend to, you want as much FPS as possible. So that's why if you are really into the competitive gaming scene, you kind of don't seem to, most of those people don't really seem to care that much about visual quality. At least they prioritize responsiveness and high FPS over visual quality. So 1080p is more than plenty for that purpose. But I can understand, and this is why we have a large range and a wide range of different monitors. If you really prefer the visual splendor and you still want high FPS or high refresh rate, we also have monitors for that, both curved and flat. So yeah, there's plenty of choice. But when it comes to 360 Hz, this is really specifically something that's useful for competitive gaming and giving a competitive edge. So that's why we made the choice to make it on a 1080p monitor and resolution, because typically people who really are into the competitive scene, they don't really care about high resolutions. They're actually not looking for that. So it's just a choice, but there's also a choice for you, obviously.
So this is something you can look forward to next year, when I will really dive into it and fully demonstrate what it's about and how it really feels to be playing behind it.
Yep.
All
All
right.
right.
So
Yeah, I think we can go over to the gameplay now. So actually, a couple of things I want to show you guys. I have got, for example, Dragon Center running on here, which a lot of people will know, for good and for bad reasons. But it is our software, controls all the MSI components on pretty much all MSI PCs, at least the newer ones, I think since about 1.5 or 2 years. So you can find anything in here from, for example, optimized gaming profiles to performance profiles, which you can also customize. A new feature that we've recently added is called Frozr AI cooling, which you can see here. Frozr AI cooling, the idea behind it is that normally your CPU and your GPU, or basically the CPU cooler and the graphics card cooler, would do their work independently of each other. They're not really monitoring each other or seeing, okay, if one heats up, then the other one reacts. So the idea behind this is that you can actually employ your case fans, so the fans inside your case, to create more airflow. Normally this would be linked to your motherboard, and so it would pretty much only react to CPU temperatures. So if your CPU will get hotter, your case fans would react to it. In this case, you can also use your GPU temperature, and especially because some of the Ampere card, but I've also seen some reviews of the RX 6800 XT, for example. They can also use quite high amounts of power, which means they output a lot of heat. And so therefore it is actually quite important and useful that your case fans can and will react directly to the GPU temperature. So if your GPU starts heating up, that your case fans don't wait until it starts affecting the GPU to an extent that the GPU starts heating up and then the case fans react, but you actually have a more direct response. So if your GPU, I mean, this is the manual mode. We also have like a predefined performance mode and silent mode. I chose the manual mode because it kind of displays better the two different lines. So the blue line is for the GPU, which also shows on the right side here. Oh, actually, I don't think you guys can see my mouse. Let's see if I can fix that. Or can you?
no, we can't yet.
Oh, I might have just actually disabled it. Let's see. Yes, here we go. So right here on the right side, you can see the blue lines are GPU and the red line is CPU. So and the green dot basically, or line, is what currently is happening. And the goal of it is that you can actually make your system fans, so your case fans basically, you can make them trigger on different points for the CPU and GPU. So in this case, if the GPU reaches 60 degrees, the case fan should be around 30% fan duty, which is, I think, kind of like regular, the regular speed it will be running at. But when it reaches 70 degrees, the case fans will ramp up to about 50%, which increases a lot of the airflow inside the case, which really helps with getting rid of the heat more efficiently and faster. And then there's 3 different points or intervals at the moment that you can set, and the last one is 65% fan duty at 75 degrees Celsius. Again, you can customize this to whatever you want. I think here we could say the GPU, the third interval, if I say at 65 degrees, 75, sorry, I want it at 80% fan duty, I can say apply, and then there it applies the curve, the fan curve, pretty much. And so it will do that. So this is again just to let you guys have the option at least of using your case fans in a more direct manner to deal with the heat coming off of your GPU as well as your CPU. Of course, you also have Mystic Light. So as you can see, I mean, there's a lot of RGB going on in the case, obviously, but as you can see, pretty much all the components are detected and are showing up here from the motherboard, and there you can select pretty much the individual parts and connectors. So whatever you connect to that will respond, or you can simply select all, so everything will be put in the same mode. The graphics card, of course, and as you can see, it shows up in the program, so you can also see what you have. And there you can select different effects or you know, even make your own if you want. Keyboard, mouse, headset, everything is in there. And then of course you've got ambient link. So a while ago we also showed that ambient link is when you link things like Philips Hue lights to it, external lights, and include them into the show. Yeah, and of course if you have any issues, or sometimes you need to make sure that you scan and update all the modules of Mystic Light, because of Dragon Center, because again Mystic Light, Dragon Center itself is a platform, but it's built up and consists out of modules, individual programs that are included there, and each of them needs to be kept up to date, and so usually it will give you a notification if something needs to be updated. But if you're having any trouble or any issues, make sure you do a scan and update any components that might be necessary, or an advanced scan even. Because that will usually show you, for example, firmware updates or BIOS updates if any are available. Anyway, that's pretty much it for Dragon Center. I've also got Afterburner running because I want to show you guys in game with the overlay, of course, what's going on. And I've also done a little bit of, I see there's a BIOS update here for a flash BIOS. I'm not going to do that. That's not really relevant for this stream. Anyway, I've also done already a bit of overclocking with the OC scanner. So if you guys didn't know yet, in Afterburner you can do some really basic overclocking, very safe. It doesn't void your warranty. By clicking the left top button, the OC with the little looking glass here, it will open up a console. And what it will do is basically it will go through your voltage frequency curve, which you can also see here, and it will just see if it has a bit more headroom to put the clock speeds of both the GPU and your memory a bit higher than standard, which already, like I said, already did. Takes about, in this case, I think about 20 minutes it took. But yeah, so I can easily reset everything to default. But my profile one actually was the thing, the performance that I got from OC scanner. I'll just put things in default because I want to give you guys the performance out of the box experience first. And so let's start up the game, shall we?
Yeah, people are really looking forward to it. Let's see how good of a hacker man Peter is.
Hackman. Well, I'm not really sure if you want to see how good the game I am at the game, or if you want to see the performance. This is, by the way, on the monitor that we're playing, it's a 1440p resolution. So it's Quad HD. It's not 4K. It's not 1080p. It's 1440p.
It's a piece of cake, huh, for the 3090.
Yeah, well, 3080 actually. There's a 3080 in this build.
Oh right, yeah, we are using 3080.
But you're right. This is a piece. Well, it should be a piece of cake for this card. Do keep in mind we are capturing this through NDI, and there's always a bit of performance hit because the GPU or the graphics card is also handling the encoding of all the stream, basically of the gameplay, and then sending it to the PC that Ja is sitting at, which is the director PC, and that one is handling the stream. Okay, and I'll show you all guys also. I'll just continue the campaign where I was. I have no idea.
Yeah, I think just on a side note, this is actually, if you also watch online, a notoriously difficult game to handle for any GPU. So yeah, let's see what we get out of it.
Yeah. All right, so let me know if you guys can see it clearly in the top right. There is a frame rate counter, but it's a bit smaller than the rest of the digits. So let me know if you guys can see it. Also, I'm going to quickly show you guys the graphics options we are running. So as you can see, 1440p, I've put the monitor refresh rate at the refresh rate that this monitor actually has and can do, 165 hertz. VSync is off, FPS limit is off, field of view. This is pretty much the standard settings that I've left it. And the quality settings, DirectX 12, geometry to very high, environment to high, texture resolution to ultra, Texture filtering to high, shadows high, headlight shadows I've put off, reflections on ultra, which I cannot change because I think because of the ray tracing or the DLSS setting I've selected. Depth of field on, motion blur off, bloom off, ambient occlusion on, post-process anti-aliasing on TAA, which is I think also necessary for DLSS. So I cannot change this because I have DLSS enabled. Subsurface scattering on high. I'm not really sure. Yeah, I think I just used the hardware unboxed optimized settings, which I mean those guys really do a good job at analyzing what like an optimized setting is for the game, where you still have a lot of the visual fidelity and still gain a lot of performance as well. Ray trace reflections are on ultra, obviously for obvious reasons. And DLSS is on the quality setting because I mean I could set it on performance, which should net me a bit more FPS or even ultra performance, and I have tried it, but I found that the image does become a bit more blurred to my eyes, so I like the quality setting the most. Extra details are on 0%, also I cannot change this, so I guess this is linked to some other settings here as well, and temporal upscaling also 100. But this is, again, reminds you, 1440p resolution. So let's show you guys this, and as you can see as I'm running around, these are ultra settings for the ray tracing. So as you can see, everything is real-time ray traced. It's rainy, so that's actually very good for, well, yeah. Very bad maybe, because it requires more ray tracing obviously for the reflections. But it's very good for showing you guys what it does and how it works.
Yeah, I mean just look at the puddles, look at the ground, the road.
Yeah. And if something happens, like I don't know, like these cars, and they start moving, everything is being rendered in real time. And this is really, it's getting to a point where it's just ridiculously realistic looking. So it just looks so freaking good. And I'm just, yeah, easing along at around 70 FPS. And again, I'm also streaming, don't forget I'm streaming this to another PC at the same time. And the GPU is handling that workload next to the game. Whoa! Bus. So let's see, what time is it in the game? All right, it's like 5 p.m. So it shouldn't take too long for it to become evening, which is also obviously a time when a game like this literally shines and where it should look even better. Let's see if I can do a mission here. Let's see, I need to go here. And then perhaps I can borrow a vehicle of some description. Oh, there we go. There's a nice motorcycle here.
Yes, we are using ray tracing on ultra settings.
Oh. Indeed.
Auto drive is not
There
available.
was a automatic or auto drive function, right? Wasn't it Z?
Auto drive is not
I guess it was turned off.
Yeah, so for those of you wondering about the specifications, I just put up the banner with all the specs on it, so you can check that out.
What CPU are you using? It's a Ryzen 9 5950X. So that's a 16-core, 32-thread CPU. And as you can see, I mean, the usage number on the screen now, the 32%, that doesn't really tell you that much. That's like an average of all the cores. So some cores will probably be used, yeah, I don't know, quite heavily. While obviously the game doesn't use the full 16 cores. Almost no games do yet use that many cores. But it can handle it quite easily. And the GPU, the graphics card is running at 99% or in the 90% usage constantly, around 63 degrees. So also not that high, nothing that special. And it's, yeah, it's still responsive enough for me to be able to drive through traffic and not hit anything. Jesus. All right, yeah, what am I supposed to do here? This is like one of those things where I have to look around, right? Oh, yeah, okay. On trap. Yeah, let's do that. I think I'm gonna have to arm some traps here. people get electrocuted or something like that. This is 1440p, yes. When will the MSI RX 6800 XT Gaming Exterior Series be announced? Actually, they have been announced. The product pages are live, so you can actually find them on our website. But if you're talking about, when will there be stock and stuff like that, that I cannot tell you. That really depends on things like shipping schedules and logistics. So that information I do not have, sadly. What else can I do here? There's like a bunch of guys walking around. There are more traps I can activate. And what are these traps gonna do? I'm not seeing a whole lot happening yet.
You can also try to fight with someone.
I'm not sure.
Probably will get ass kicked, but it's gonna be fun.
I guess I'm supposed to arm traps, which is what I'm doing. Because why else would it give me the option? But it is kind of cool that you can, fly through a level like this, looking at everything. But I am kind of half losing patience here, so I might just in the end go ham and friggin' see what I can do. I can't do anything with this. That's a shame. Oh wait. No. Okay, fair enough. Okay. Oh, restricted areas. Stream is lagging a little bit. Really?
Albion have established an operational base
I hope
in
not.
the Royal Court of Justice.
Let me check it out.
It's like picking up a go directly to jail card at this point.
Exactly.
Oh,
But
some
it
guy's
also means
down.
There's information here about how Albion are targeting
Look at that.
dissenters, the WHO and the
Something
Wild.
happened.
We need that data if we're going to disrupt their operation.
So I have this little spider bot. Let's see if I can do something with that. Whee! What happens if these guys spot me?
Well, the stream seems to be normal, so if it's lagging for you, you can try to see if
somebody got
refresh
electrocuted.
will help. Usually helps. Maybe your internet traffic is just a little bit busy at the moment, but everything seems good.
Yeah, everything seems normal here, so far at least. Oh, somebody spotted me. Oh, hello.
Yes, indeed, Sophis.
Oh,
we'll
good
get
shot.
into the 6800 series a little bit later after the gameplay. The Hornet saying we should lure them into the traps.
Yeah, I know, but it's like, how do we do that? Because I don't really want to shoot them. But I think, yeah, I think the ground floor at least is clear, it seems. And let's see if I can, oh snap, can he see me? What's their view range?
It's clear. I will go that way. Run all you want, and I'll keep finding. I'm ready to fire.
Am I not supposed to shoot people? I don't know.
No Bogdan, we're not going to play Valhalla today. It's Watch Dogs Legion.
Oh, did hit him. Let's go! All right.
Somebody's
died
getting
there.
the hang of it.
Nearly died. I guess that's okay. something here. I'm not gonna read it because reasons. Interact. All right, time for another winner.
I think so.
I mean, it's a nice game. So yeah, if you want to enjoy this as well, here's your chance.
All right, so it is time for our fourth winner of today. So his name is Duke.
Duke!
So Duke, congratulations,
Damn.
dude.
Kick-ass Duke.
On Watch Dogs Legion. And hope you have fun with it. In the coming days, you will see it in your email box.
Yes.
And for the rest of you guys, I believe we still have more to be given away, so don't worry. There might still be a chance for you to win the game, so for you can also enjoy. So just go to msa.com/2/insider, or just keep an eye out for the chat, because we'll also post a link there directly from our bot. And the more actions you perform there, the more chances you still have at winning one of the codes left for today's live stream.
Ooh.
We reached out and he's
All right, guys, good luck.
help us.
Yep.
I think you should meet with him.
Send me the coordinates.
Alright, I should be going incognito now. Wow, what is this?
The
Look at
jogging
this.
mode.
Well, this like this sky and like the orange ominous glow and look of things. Like, holy crap! I thought it was like
Oh.
I'm detected now. or
Look at
something.
all the ray tracing.
Well, I thought it was like oh crap! I'm still detected. People are chasing me. You know, like a red overlay. That's
Right.
that's warning me of something.
But
I
it's
guess
just a
not.
beautiful sunset.
It is. Yeah. It really truly is. Where am I supposed to go? Let me see. Here we go.
Maybe you can even fast travel.
Can I?
If you click on the map again, maybe there's the option to... Nope,
nope.
not. There is not.
Maybe if I've been there before, but I guess not. Is there a vehicle I can borrow? Excuse me. Can I borrow? Oh.
Bye, Inferno.
Oh, this is actually a
Thanks for
security
checking.
guy. What?
What? Ooh, you checked the wrong car.
Yeah. What the hell is this? Okay. Yeah, that didn't really mean to do that, but who cares? It's oh, auto drive. Here we go.
Auto drive now enabled.
Will people come after me? How does that work? Or did they actually lose track at some point? Because I am driving very incognito right now. You know, it's oh look, yeah, the bar is kind of shutting down. Oh no, they're onto me. Somebody spotted me. They're behind me. Oh, what are they gonna do? Are they gonna ram me?
Yeah, he went straight for that booty. Bam!
Oh my god. Can I? Oh, here we go. Hello.
Games
Oh
benchmarks,
no, now I've
don't
got two.
worry. Unfortunately, you didn't win yet, but hey, we still have more coming up. Even after today's live stream, we'll have more of these game codes, so you still have plenty of chances to win.
I need to lose the heat, or did I? Ah, I think I already did. Now. Okay, cool. Coolio. Let's see. Let's hit the objective.
Oh, so somebody just gave us a tip. We can fast travel
Oh.
to close to the location. Well, close to the location by looking at the metro underground symbol.
Well. Okay, fair enough. But I'm already here now, so I think we should be fine.
How many passengers did you hit along the way?
None, I think. So much violence.
What's up?
What resolution are you playing? 4040p indeed. Thanks, GigaRam. That's right. 70, at least 70 FPS steady. Is that what you will enjoy playing with RTX Ultra? Yeah, I mean, if you want, I can turn the RTX off, and then you'll see the difference, both in visual quality but also in FPS. So let's see. I'll just skip this scene. But as you can see, I mean, the GPU is not even hitting 70 degrees, right? And this is in silent mode. So it's not, yeah, the gaming mode will probably be even cooler, because that has a bit more of an aggressive fan curve. But it's really not necessary. Let me see. Okay, yeah, I was gonna turn ray tracing off. So here we go. So now, actually it doesn't do that much right away in terms of performance, although it's a bit higher. It's a bit up and down. No idea why that is. Up to 90 now. Please do without RTX at 4K. I cannot do 4K on this monitor. It's a 1440p monitor, so unfortunately I cannot do that.
Next time.
Yeah, but I'm guessing I would still get comfortably around or at 60 FPS at least. I'll see what I can do, for example, with the different DLSS settings. Here's what happens when I turn DLSS off. So I still get around 90 FPS. So at quality setting, it doesn't do a whole lot, or it doesn't seem to do a whole lot. Let me see. But if, for example, I put it on, I don't know, performance, we should notice some difference. So a little bit over 90. Again, nothing crazy, at least not in this title, or maybe not yet. Again, the way DLSS also works is I think it improves the longer a game is out, because it's like a continuous learning algorithm that's being applied. If you choose ultra performance, that should be the biggest boost of performance that DLSS can provide. In this case, I think it does most, it makes the biggest difference if you turn ray tracing on, but let's see what happens. So again, I will put DLSS off first, put ray tracing on ultra. Alright, here we go. So yeah, around 60 FPS without DLSS, right?
Yeah, there's quite a difference.
Yes, and now I'm gonna turn DLSS on. And I'll put it on, well, quality is the, let's say, the highest quality setting of DLSS. So you go from 60 to 78, which is, well, quite a big jump. And then within DLSS, let's see what the difference, what happens if I put it on ultra performance. So then you go from, well, yeah, 70, what were we just at, 79?
78-ish.
78, yeah. So you jump up another few FPS, but in my opinion, and from how I'm looking at it, the difference in visual quality is noticeable between DLSS Ultra Performance mode and quality mode.
Definitely.
And, you know, having 4 or 5 FPS more at the cost of that, visual quality, I would say just leave it at quality, and you know, just over 70 FPS looks pretty sweet to me. And I mean, you still get the real-time ray traced reflections, as you can see. And let's see if I turn that off, because you can see the cars there. And now if I turn that off, I mean, you still get some reflection. But this is like, let's just say it's faked to a degree that it's not realistic anymore, and it's far less. It looks far less realistic and far less good. So these are basically just screen space reflections. So it's like trying to approach the effect of a real reflection to the best of their ability, obviously. But it doesn't really do the same job as a real ray trace reflection, which also, for example, in the cars, you know, you get all the reflections on the car windows and the cars themselves, if they're polished, if they're if they're clean.
They gotta be shiny.
Exactly.
Reflective.
But again, you can just see that the GPU temperature, it doesn't even reach 70 degrees. It goes, occasionally it goes up to upper 60s. And mind you, again, this is in silent mode. So that means that the fans are actually in a relatively calm mode, where the priority is low fan speeds, and it will let the GPU get a little bit hotter. So if you switch to gaming mode, it will even be cooler than that. I think we can also switch to Afterburner. I can show you a bit in the graphs, a bit more detailed as well. I don't know if this is still visible for you guys, because they are really small digits, especially at this resolution. But if we look at temperature, for example, the max is actually 71. So it did go over 70 just at some point. I don't even see where it did that, or maybe here. Yeah, here. So at some point it just reached 70 degrees. Fan duty. Where is the fan speed? So fan speed is yeah, around 39-40%. So yeah, it's still running very, very silent. And as for the power limit, our FAE. So if you follow our streams, you also have seen Ruth and Peter who join our streams at some point. They actually showed me a little trick where you can actually see if you have the latest. You have to have the latest NVIDIA driver though, always, for this to work. But you can apply a command line in your PC, which is the one I'm highlighting now. So NVIDIA -SMI -Q -D power, and that basically will read out the power limit, or basically the power details out of the driver or the BIOS. I think out of the BIOS, I think it is. So it will show you the actual values. So power draw, power limit, but also max power limit. So that is like the maximum value that you can, if you put in Afterburner, you slide the slider of power limit all the way to the max. So in this case 116, which is percentage based. That 116 equals 430 watts on a 3080. So that's quite a lot, and then a very high power limit to have for on a 3080. So the 3090 actually goes even higher than that. I don't have the exact number off the top of my head, but I think it's it should be close to 500 watts or something ridiculous, or maybe even over that, but it's something ridiculous like that. But yeah, so quite a high power limit, really good gameplay, good performance, silent, cool, and very stable. I can also, if you want, I can apply the overclock that I did with the OC scanner. So I believe the core clock was then about 100 megahertz higher, or 115 or something like that, and memory was quite conservative with 50, but this is what OC scanner provided. So I'll apply that, and then we can go back into the game, and yeah, there should be a little bit of a performance uplift, but honestly it should not be massive, because again this generation with GPU boost 4.0, I think we're at, it's actually doing quite a good job at already trying to achieve the max boost speeds and basically the highest performance that it can dynamically, while taking into account things like voltage limit, power limit, temperature limit, and stuff like that. So it will dynamically try to see, okay, can I boost a little bit higher within the parameters I'm given? So there's actually not that much headroom left on pretty much any card these days, especially the NVIDIA cards, because they already try to get the max out of it no matter which model you have. All right. So yeah, any questions about this card, the gameplay?
No, we had like a few questions regarding how to redeem the codes. Well, you just have to enter the codes into your Uplay launcher. There's going to be an option
I think
where
it's
you can redeem
Uconnect,
codes.
right? There's a new one that was introduced very recently.
Yeah, but if you just Google Uplay, you will be
Yes.
launched at the new page where you can download like the Uplay Connect, I think it's called. Complete.
Ubisoft Connect actually.
Yeah.
I'm opening it now because I.
That's where you just redeem the code.
Yeah, here you go.
And
And then
we'll
you
also
go.
tell you that in the email.
And then I think you go here, like on the left. There are some like these stripes, the menu icon here, and then you get the menu here with the top one. The top option says activate a key. That's where you go. So if you click that, you get this pop up saying, hey, okay, activate a key. You put the code in here, click activate, and that should be it. Frame time graph. Huh. Let's see if I can find that for you. Core clock, memory, fan speeds, fan power limit. What are you looking for in the frame time graph, if I may ask? Frame rate, so that's in FPS. CPU usage, oh, it's actually not in here. Not being plotted. Maybe I can enable it here somewhere. Frame time. Let's see. And we'll also put it in the OSD. Yep. Oh, click cancel, but I think it should be. I think this is the frame time that you got here.
Final Odyssey is asking about the release date of the monitor. Well, in majority of the regions, it should be available next month in December. So the MAG 274 QRF QD version. A little bit patient, so in about a few weeks, you should be seeing it on shelves.
Well, causing a power surge in a hybrid power generator isn't like making a toasty. We're going to need detailed specifications.
We need to dig into this.
Oh, seems like I need to go somewhere.
Are you seeing this? Cool, looks bloody complicated. News he's got a pretty functional camera. Would a picture do you, Bagley?
It would indeed. According to this, there's an override code that'll get us into the generators.
All right.
Admin saying, can we show a safety, well, a live stream about overclocking the computer, graphics and processor in a live stream? Perhaps we could in the future live streams.
I mean, if you want to cover all those three topics, there's a hell of a lot of information to cover as well. As in, you know, what to look out for, how to ensure that you're still staying within safe margins. So we might see if there's enough interest. We might see if we can do something like that. But to be honest, these days, for graphics cards and CPUs, there's a lot of features already built in for you to do basic overclocking, or at least making sure that you get the most performance out of it. Sure, there's always a little bit of headroom. Let's see if I can disable these guys. Come on. Oh, wait. What did I do? Oh. Oh, I think I got shut down. Disable. Come on. Oh, actually, he doesn't see me? I think he doesn't see me. Oh, there we go. Yeah, if there's no other questions about the SUPRIM and the gameplay here, then I guess we can go to the final part, which is about the AMD card. Because I noticed a lot of questions about that, so.
Yeah, a lot.
Actually, oh, this is strange. I don't think I can quit out of this while I'm in the mission. I'm trying to press escape, but there's nothing happening.
Well, it's okay. I mean, I already cheated for you because it's not visible anymore.
Why? Oh, the gameplay.
Yeah.
All right, then I'm gonna straight Alt F4 it.
The good old Alt F4.
Yep. All right.
All right, are we ready for the 6800?
Yeah. So, oh, actually, there we go.
Yeah,
it's needed to refresh the image, obviously. So, if you guys haven't really seen it yet, again, the product pages are already online. So, if you want more information about these cards, you can head on over to msi.com and check our graphics card department there. RX 6800 series, 6800 XT, and you will find both a Gaming X Trio and a Gaming Trio variant. Yeah, in appearance they look very similar to the other Gaming Trio cards, Gaming X Trio cards that we have on the 30 series as well. There are some small differences, but overall, that's more customizing and making sure, optimizing for a different GPU and to make sure that both power delivery is done correctly, obviously on the PCB, but also the cooling is fine-tuned and tailored for the RX 6800 XT and 6800. So we have, maybe I can actually pull up the website for you guys. It's maybe as in to show you which models we have. There we go. So you go to msi.com, products, graphics cards, AMD GPU, and then you can click in the menu. You can click these. Here you go. So we have the 6800 XT Gaming X Trio, gaming Trio. We have also obviously the reference version. Then we have the 6800 non-XT, so the normal 6800. We also there have a Gaming X Trio and a Gaming Trio. And the reference version. So those are the ones that we have. We can look at the page quickly as well to show you some of the features. But again, they are very similar. We want it to be the experience and the basically the values of the gaming line and the Gaming X Trio model in this case. We want them to be as consistent as possible, so that also the experience that you get if you buy an MSI Gaming X Trio card is fairly similar, regardless if it's NVIDIA or AMD. We're not playing favorites basically. So we try to optimize each of them while still remaining pretty much as same as possible from your end, from how it looks, how you experience it, making it the best balance between performance, cooling, and noise. So as quiet as possible. So obviously it has some nice RGB on it. Very similar to the Gaming X Trio on the 30 series, so on the side and on the backplate and on the front shroud, of course, you have these nice stripes that you see accentuated in the visual here. Torx fan 4.0, obviously. Teamwork makes the dream work. Core pipe you will also find on these cards, so also the flattened heat pipes, which we can fit more of them together for optimized heat dispersion. The heatsink design is very similar, uses the same technologies with the wave curve pattern on top to break the airflow, lessen the noise, and also the deflectors to add more surface area and also steer the air more directly towards the parts of the card, the heat pipes that are the hottest. They will also feature the graphene, the composite graphene backplate, just like their NVIDIA counterparts. I also have heard that we will come out with a bit more detailed information. We heard a lot of people are confused with how the graphene backplate works exactly, or they don't seem to really understand it, or are very doubtful, and some are saying outright that it's just plastic, which it's not true, as in, yes, there is plastic in the mix. It's a composite. A composite means it's a mixture of different materials, so yes, there is plastic in there, but it's definitely enhanced with graphene, which adds capabilities to that. Most importantly, a bit of thermal capacity, so it can actually take heat and help disperse it a bit, and it makes it a hell of a lot more rigid and strong because of the graphene. So those are the two key and main things to know about the graphene backplate. Again, I think we'll come out with some more, let's just say, scientific ways, I guess, to show you guys how that actually works and how much stronger it is. A lot of thermal pads also. I mean, like you saw with SUPRIM today, and if you've seen the teardown of Gaming X Trio in the past couple of weeks, you will also have noticed that we tend to use a lot of thermal pads to make sure that a lot of components can directly get some cooling benefit from either the backplate or the heatsink on top of it. Of course, zero frozzer. Again, if your card isn't getting hot, the fans don't need to spin, so that lessens noise, but it also kind of saves the lifespan, or extends the lifespan of the bearings they're using. So yeah, very good feature. Also a standard nowadays pretty much with all the graphics cards you can buy. Also, you know, increased quality of the PCB and extra added security features like the extra fuses, anti-bending measures. Again, if you know the 30 series gaming trio cards, these will look familiar. You will also get a support bracket in the box, again similar to the 30 series. Yeah, a lot of the exciting AMD Radeon features here as well. It's an exciting time, guys. I mean, these cards are seriously competitive, and yeah, we will make sure that we offer the best we can, so you can have the best experience. Also for this lineup and for this GPU, so basically the Radeon 6800 series, yeah, there is a bit of a ramping up that needs to happen to improve availability. Obviously, again, this was just introduced not long ago. I think you can get these cards maybe even starting today, starting this week, something like that, the on shelf. So it is very early on in the process. But yeah, we hope to get these cards out to you guys as soon as possible, so that everybody who's waiting for one of these can actually get one. And yeah, I hope that answers most of the questions. Again, yeah, you will see a lot of things that will look familiar that we also apply on the 30 series. That's because, again, we want to make a consistent experience, a consistent card for you with consistency in quality, in performance, and as much as we can also fine-tune it and customize it for the GPU to bring out the best of the GPU that it's on, or that is at the heart of the card. So I hope that answers most of your questions, guys. Ja, any other questions that might be good?
Well, not really questions.
Cover.
You know, there were some availability questions and the usuals, and also about, you know, when they can see an unboxing.
Yeah. Yes. Unfortunately, I don't have a physical sample here. Otherwise, I would have definitely given you guys an unboxing. So I hope to be able to do that. I don't know, sometime within the coming weeks, but. Yeah, all the available samples are now either being shipped to media, I think, or you know, stock, so you guys can actually get most of the samples. So we actually don't even have one here. Does the RX 6800 XT support ray tracing? Abassi gamers, yes, but not in the same way that the NVIDIA cards do. So they have their own way through the DirectX ray tracing DXR platform. So yeah, it really remains to be seen. If you've seen the benchmarks, you can look it up. If you've seen the benchmarks, you can already see that the ray tracing performance is there is a disparity there, but you also need to keep in mind that, you know, this is the first time and the first generation of Radeon cards that actually support ray tracing. So similar to, you know, when we got the RTX 20 series from NVIDIA, there was still, it took a while to improve everything, and now, you know, we are at a point where it's actually quite feasible, and you still can get quite nice high FPS while employing ray tracing or enjoying it. So yeah, I'm expecting AMD to be working on, you know, how to improve it as soon as possible as well, and seeing how they can optimize it further. So yeah, we will see. But yeah, it's difficult. I know you know, from a consumer perspective, you tend to compare these two directly, but don't forget that AMD is, you know, at the beginning of their ray tracing support right now. This is they've just started doing this, so there's probably still a hell of a lot they can do to optimize it, and I'm expecting to see a lot of improvements in that area in the coming months. But let's see. I cannot guarantee it. I don't know what they're working on. Maybe they won't improve it. I have no idea. I'm just hoping they will. So also then on ray tracing we get, we get a nice competitive market, so that in the end gamers have a really good choice. So no matter which side they choose, they will get a really good experience and really good performance.
Yeah, that's what we really love about the competition right now. It's just so good for us, even, we are also gamers.
Ghost operator, will MSI ever make a liquid cooled GPU? I mean, we have done that in the past. In previous generations we had two types. We had the Seahawk, which was more of a hybrid solution, so it used an all-in-one closed loop solution directly onto the GPU, the processor, and then the rest of the card was kind of cooled with air, with an exhaust type, so a radial fan basically blowing air over the PCB. And we had the full cover water blocks in our cooperation with EK Water Blocks, which was called the Seahawk EK. This generation, at least at the moment, we don't offer them yet. Like I said earlier in the stream, I know that our HQ is looking into it, but I haven't received any final information that I'm able, or that will be even useful to share with you guys, because it's all things, work in progress and seeing if things are feasible and how we can make it work. So yeah, who knows, in the coming months perhaps, but don't pin me down on it, because we might in the end decide not to introduce them. I don't know yet. Will MSI stop producing RX 6800 XT reference board GPUs? I don't know, Damien. If I don't even know if we actually produce them directly, if they come out of our factories. I'm not 100% sure. But at some point, it really depends on AMD what their strategy is, also with the reference boards. So yeah, we will see. For now, both are available to you. I've also seen that the reference design, also the cooler design, is quite good. So yeah, AMD also did a really good job on that. So I think you have plenty of good choice when it comes to those models to the AMD cards. Will AMD support DLSS? Doubtful, yeah, because DLSS is a specific NVIDIA technology. They will probably, and I think they have, no, actually they don't have something similar yet, but I'm pretty sure they might, get the idea and see how they can implement it. But if they do, it will most certainly be called differently, because again, DLSS is made by and developed by NVIDIA. So they own that name, similar to how they have claimed RTX as a brand name pretty much, because they were the first to develop it and to stick their heads out and to actually make it happen. So yeah, they claim the RTX as a brand. And DLSS, I think, is a similar concept. But that's not to say that AMD will not create something that does something similar, but will be called differently, obviously. Yeah, indeed, because there was something like super resolution, dynamic super resolution, something like that, DSR, that was already there, but I'm not 100% sure if that actually does the same thing. Anyway.
So Peter,
yeah,
Peter,
I think we can.
What do you think?
We can, yeah, maybe pick our last winner, or maybe
last winner.
Shall we do two? Shall we close with a bang with two winners?
Let's go with a bang. Let's go with a bang.
I'm up for it. All right, so Ja is drawing the winners. Again, guys, thank you so much for joining today. I hope you enjoyed the close look, especially, of course, at SUPRIM, because that was our main focus today. And how that looks, how it works on the inside. I hope I explained a bit about the differences between Ventus Gaming and SUPRIM, and why SUPRIM is our top-end card. and the major benefits of that. I also hope I showed you, can we maybe go to the main view, Ja, while you do that as well? I hope I also showed you guys a bit how freaking awesome that looks in a case like this. Again, this is the Sekira. Maybe you can pull up the specs as well, so if people can, if they have a question about it or they wonder what's inside this PC or what we're using today. This is the system. I mean, it's a ridiculously high-end system, apart from maybe the RAM, because again, that was 3200 megahertz. That is, well, relatively baseline for DDR4 these days. But both the CPU and the GPU were ridiculously high-end, and I mean that just gives you a really nice gaming experience overall, and a really nice visual experience, not even just in the game, but also outside of the game in your case to boot. So, yeah. I also hope we answered most of you guys of your questions about these cards and. Yeah, any practical questions you might have.
All right.
Okay. I think we have our 2 winners, right?
Yep. So the last 2 winners of today, we have, first of all, ooh, that's a difficult one.
Oh, damn. Good luck pronouncing that one.
Mia Kanimo.
All right,
Kanimo. I mean, it's a username, so it sounds a little bit difficult. But
yes. Yeah, we always mention the nicknames. Obviously, we don't want to mention real names.
Yeah. So that's the first one. Congratulations. And the second one is, oh, that's the fun one. The manliest man among men.
Damn. That is one manly name.
Yep. Manliest
Manliest man amongst men.
Congratulations, Mia Kanimo, and manliest man amongst men.
Oh, and the funny thing is, we can actually see the action that got them the award, right? We can actually see that manliest man
someone
amongst
actually
men.
used the loyalty bonus.
Yeah, it was actually your loyalty bonus. The rest all got got drawn as a winner because of the basically the regular action. So retweeting or visiting our YouTube channel or subscribing or stuff like that.
So far,
but we have one winner in there, manliest man amongst men. I love that name. Who actually got it by claiming the loyalty bonus. So congratulations. Yeah. We'll make sure to send the codes out to you as soon as possible. And yeah, thank you so much for joining. Next week, we're going to have a fun stream, man. So we just called it Damn the MAG Torpedoes, Full Speed Ahead. So we're going to be talking about, obviously, some motherboards, the Torpedo, multiple motherboards, in fact, and something else. So, and that all then provides a hell of a lot of speed. So we hope to see you guys again next week. Mm-hmm. So and yeah, thanks for joining. Exactly.
All right, guys. Thank you.
Right.
And bye-bye.
Bye-bye.